Hey, hi, how you doing? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Chase and Myles. We are at the Lucky Duck. It's a great day. New guest. On to the next podcast, Myles. Who do we have on today?
You know, a lot of people don't know it's actually sunny out.
Ooh.
Anyway, today's guest comes back to us from the old days of high school. He's actually one of the earliest adopters of At the Lucky Duck podcast. I'm sure he's listened to all of them. You might know him as the bass player in the hit band Taking Chance. Like our good friend Russell, he lives in Atlanta working as an athletic trainer. Someone once told me he's related to Abraham Lincoln. Not sure if it's true, though. Don't even think about 1v1ing him in Rocket League. This is Jordan.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy?
It's good to be here.
Yeah. We're drinking some old fashions.
Yeah.
And
Mine's almost gone.
the second time we have had old fashions on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
We felt it was appropriate to let you have this one, even though it's already been done.
Yeah.
So let's give it a good cheers to a good. Hopefully, it will be a good podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
We're going to have to fill you up.
Clinky.
That's a good one.
For all those audio listeners.
Yeah, here's some good ASMR.
That's pretty good. Catch us on YouTube, though. Am I right?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Hulu.
Yeah. So about Jordan, I mean, he's our guest today. We don't need to talk about
Oh wow,
plug the podcast, right?
Jeez, I'm already like a minute in. I'm trying to plug our podcast.
Exactly. So sad.
So you flew in today. Nice. It is the one of the last weekends, or the last weekend in February.
Yep.
It's a little snowy out in Colorado. We're gonna do some snowboarding. Well, for you skiing, because you're.
I don't know how to snowboard.
An idiot.
Me either. Still go though.
Yeah. I heard that on average, there's like in the peak of the season, there's like 50 people that go to the ER each day in Colorado due to skiing / snowboarding related incidents.
That's crazy.
Every time we get done with a break, Christmas or spring break or whatever, I'll go to work and I always have somebody coming in saying that they not necessarily broken their leg, but like sprained something or pulled something, and I'm like, dude,
it's always like
it's
minor.
not a sports injury. Well, it is a sports injury, just not at the school.
Wow.
Whatever, but
Snowboarding and skiing are like rich white people sports
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
really expensive. You go up there and it's just like what do you think? Aspen and Vail, like rich towns, like
Exclusive.
mountain towns. It's like I think it was like what $200 for a 1 day lift ticket.
Aspen was
Aspen.
like 200 at least. Yeah.
So if you got just like, and you're up there for like what, I don't know, most 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
If you want to make,
and it's not just you,
or
like it's your family. A lot of times it's mom, dad, couple kids,
Johnny,
$200 a ticket. The place you're staying,
Aiden.
you're probably paying like at least $400 a night.
At least in Aspen, you're paying like $600 or $700 a night.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to think of so
Food
$200 a person plus all the rentals. I mean, it's like taking a flight to Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's actually more expensive than Disneyland.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more fun.
When I first moved out here and I used to talk to my coworkers, I was like, "Oh, you guys going out to do some skiing?" And they were like, "I got kids, man." It's like I'm not doing that. It's like a vacation.
Yeah,
right.
And that's why he didn't have kids.
Yeah. Solely so that I could have the exclusivity of going snowboarding whenever I wanted to. Yeah, it works out.
So, have you been skiing before?
I have one other time. So I took lessons when I was a teenager. I can't remember how old I was, but it's been a while. So I'm 30 now. So it's been over 10 years.
Okay,
so we'll
cool.
say that. But kind of like riding a bike, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Not really.
So, I actually met someone else recently who kind of had a similar situation. She had lessons when she was younger, and she did pretty good. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I guess it depends on the person. So we're gonna be super judgy tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like in Johnny Tsunami, where you're in the skiing posse, and we're in the snowboarding clique, And we're just gonna have like constant battles all day.
Yeah, spraying
just, like,
snow
dirty
on you all
looks.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pushing you.
Skidding snow up onto me.
Calling you a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, when we went
Can't
last time, our family was in town, and my little brother, who's in high school, wanted to try doing it. It was the first time, so he gets up, he's all like geared up, gets on the lift, and he makes it off the lift okay, which is like, you know, the first hurdle you have to make, like do.
Yeah,
like
just not falling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, he didn't make it off. He fell.
Well, you know, one way of making it off. I mean, he got off.
He didn't get hit by
technically.
somebody
Yeah.
after that, so.
Yeah, so you know, we start making our way down the mountain, and he gets not too very far until he like wipes out, and then he gets back up, wipes out again, rinse and repeat. So he's like, you know what? I probably need to take a break. So he gets up, starts walking down the mountain, and as he's walking down a mountain, some guy skiing comes over.
And skis, mind you. So this is the
skis.
problem here.
Skis, Jordan. Comes over and like skids up next to him, blows a bunch of snow up onto him, and calls him a pussy, and then goes off. It's like,
Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got to not live up to that.
well,
Yeah.
full disclosure, like most people on the mountain are actually really chill, and they want to see you
Probably.
like succeed. So I don't know, that guy must have woken up and
It was on a beginner
Somebody-
slope. I'm like, why are you on a beginner slope,
Right.
dude?
If you can spray snow over
Yeah.
somebody.
yeah.
And it's fine.
it's
We can
not
start on
ideal.
the bunny hill if you want, or like you could go with Chase up further
Just
into the
throw me in the deep end.
in the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
So Miles mentioned you do athletic training.
I do.
Been doing that
Yep.
for a while.
Yep. So I went to Florida Gulf Coast for school, and I went to USF for grad school, and got a sports medicine degree. So, you know, athletic injuries is kind of my forte. So, hopefully, I don't sustain one this weekend
Yeah.
Mhm.
skiing. But yeah, that's kind of my deal. Currently, I work at a private school in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
And you do like
Yeah.
all the sports.
all the sports. Yep. So.
Is that difficult, or are injuries pretty similar?
Well, everything's gonna be different based on your sport. I mean, you ideally could see pretty much anything. You have to be prepared for everything, but you do see some tendencies in different sports. Like obviously baseball, you're gonna see a lot of tendinitises and overuse type injuries because they're not fully contact unless they're sliding into home plate or whatever. But
Yeah.
obviously football, you got high risk with broken bones and concussions and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how often do you actually have people are getting injured? Is it mostly you're training a lot for these type of scenarios, or are you actually getting a lot of injuries?
Yeah, so throughout the week, if we have practices, there's occasionally kids that come in and they sprained their ankle or had something somewhat minor happen during practice, and we'll a lot of times spend most of our time doing that, cuts and bruises and muscle strains, that sort of thing. But when you're watching the games, there's a lot more risk involved because they're going a lot harder. Nowadays in practice, especially with football, we have ways to work on tackling drills without actually tackling each other, so we're not trying to kill each other. So football numbers are going down, so we don't exactly have teams of 100 kids coming out, so there's a lot less kids to go through. So if you're
Right.
taking out your own teammates, then when you show up on Friday, you're not going to have very many people left. But
How has COVID been? Like, how has it made your job different, more
Yeah.
difficult, more easier? Like, what's all that?
So because I work at a school, we're kind of limited on exposure as far as like the kids, whether they're at school or not at school, because we're kind of on a flex plan where some of the kids will be at home and some of them will, be on campus or whatever. So being able to do rehabs during the day, because a lot of times they'll come in at lunchtime or during their PE class, because if they're, rehabbing an ACL injury or something like that, where, obviously they can't squat. And if they're doing squats that day, then, we'll do rehabs whenever. So during the day, that's kind of changed. You know, a lot of you know, checking temperatures and making sure kids are truthful as far as you know, whether they've been around people. So a lot of times we'll hear stories from teachers or you know, other people, parents or whatever, saying so and so. It's a lot of snitching going on. So and so was around so and so, and then we got to like dig into it. So it's caused a lot of drama. But I mean, ultimately, as far as my job goes, you know, you just got to wear a mask and you know, be cognizant of, you know, how close you are to the kids and for how long, just in case, you know, they happen to come up with COVID.
When
But
this first hit back in March 2020, you like they sent everybody home, right? They were like, everybody go home.
Yeah.
So you were like,
because we didn't know what we were doing.
you were, they were still trying to figure out things. So you were like,
We didn't know if we were gonna have a
hanging out playing
job.
video games for a good amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Got good at
just-
Call of Duty.
Yeah, a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Rocket League and stuff. So,
when did they go back to school?
I mean, we canceled everything last March, just like when everyone else did,
All the way through
the end of the year. I didn't work at all. We were, you know, having people email us basically. I mean, I had a kid that had ACL surgery in February last year, and you know, I got 1 month in with him, and he was a middle schooler at the time, and so like their development phase is a lot different than an adult, and so. You know, they need a lot more work and a lot more guidance. You can't just be like, hey, you know, go and do this. And they're like, what is a lunge? What is a squat? You know, and they're like, you know, moving like baby giraffes. So you have to constantly like adjust them, as far as their form and everything. So I only had 1 month with him. And it was kind of tough because I would check in with him via email and text him back and forth and say, hey, how you doing? You know, and, you know, an 8th grader saying, oh yeah, I'm doing well. But then are they really, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got to see him again when we started to allow people back on campus where I was like, oh, you are way behind. So he is just now getting back to playing basketball, and it's been 1 year. And he's
what kind of timeline do they usually face with an ACL surgery?
Usually by now, I mean, they say about a year, but usually by now, especially with young athletic people, you're looking at about to start playing at 8 to 10 months.
Yeah.
And he's just now being able to shoot a basketball now. So,
wow.
Yeah, COVID definitely hit him a little bit. And so, yeah, I mean, those types of scenarios where it changes it a couple of months, but he'll get back, you know, normally. But again, like I have to be aware of how long I'm with him.
Yeah.
You know, just in case I'm carrying it and don't know it, or he's carrying it and don't know it.
There protocols where you can only be next to him for so long. So what is that? Or
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
When did you first see him again after the March?
So in Georgia, we decided that football was going to be starting up. And so once we heard that, we were allowing kids to come on campus, because if football players can come on campus, then we should allow everyone to. We just have to make sure that everyone follows the rules. So we set out a bunch of rules, and you know, we had them working out outside rather than in the weight room.
Yeah.
You know, we only have, you know, 15, 20 people working out at a time. And so, yeah, there was some rules to be set. And so I was able to see him one-on-one at that time, which was late July. Yeah. So you're looking at April, May, June at the beginning of a rehab. And that's like the most critical part in getting your range of motion back and stuff. And so it took, you know, he got set back a decent amount. And
how many students do you usually have going through rehab?
Well, it varies. You know, after football season, a lot of kids will have, I say like 4 or 5 kids at a time, will end the season with needing surgery. And so some of them will opt to go to PT somewhere else. Some of
just
them
from football?
Just for football. Yeah. Either ACLs or surgery, you know, shoulder injuries or so it changes every year, but that 5 is probably a rough estimate. A lot of times, you know, a lot of them are shoulder injuries because of the way they tackle or whatever. and they'll either dislocate throughout the year and we'll have to set it back in, but they're trying to get to college football, so they want to play out their season. So they have to make that tough decision of, okay, do I get surgery now or later? And so we have to go through that phase of, all right, how important is football to you?
Yeah.
So working with kids like that, you kind of have to like enjoy doing stuff like that. Like we were talking earlier, we can talk about it again, like the difference between what you do and like what a chiropractic does. And like where they're dealing more so with adults, you're dealing with like kids. Yeah. But you also have to deal with like the parents of the kids, right? A lot of like communication with them.
Yeah. So a lot of times when kids get hurt, we have to go straight to the parents and say, okay, this is what's going on. Sometimes they believe us, sometimes they don't. And then we have a team doc that, we have a team doctor that we work with, and so we don't force the parents to use the team doctor that we work with, but we kind of try and say, hey, if he's doing PT with us, we would kind of like him to go with our doctor so we can talk to him a lot easier. And not that it's not possible to talk to their doctor if they have somebody, but working at the private school, everyone knows everybody that's a doctor, and so they always go to different people. So it's got its
outside
challenges, but
and stuff. They probably want to get an outside opinion.
So they always, my brother's a orthopedic, let me go to him.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So working with minors, it's a little bit more of a wrinkle, but it also takes off a lot of our responsibilities as far as calling insurance companies and setting up doctor's appointments, because a lot of offices now, because the kids are minors, would be like, we need the parents to call us, and so it's just like it makes it somewhat easier but somewhat harder at the same time.
Do you have to deal with that stuff, or you guys have someone who works with the insurance? And
we have somebody.
Okay, good.
So it makes it so much
like
easier. So they have to, so the way that our school's set up, they have their primary insurance, they have to have their own, and then we offer a secondary as well. So if it gets to that point, but it makes it easier.
Do you see it being a private school more athletes who are going to be playing in college or doing whatever than you might see at a public school?
It's a good question. I think statistically they are more likely to be recruited, just because we make it so easy for the recruits to come on campus and see the kids. We have all the technology to like videotape them and stuff. If, you have, not to mention the coaches have connections with certain colleges around the area that they always talk about stuff. And, sometimes they'll be kids where, they'll be getting recruited to D1 school, and I'm just sitting here like, have you actually seen him play? Like, come on.
Like you're over here like he's
there
trash,
is some
dude.
privilege. There is some privilege to going to a private school for sure.
Yeah, being wealthy and having, so you get like a little bit of an edge, I'm sure.
Yeah. Getting to know them, a lot of them are really good kids. There's kind of a stigma of private school kids are whatever.
Stuck
just
up,
like,
spoon in the mouth.
Spoon in the mouth type kids. But a lot of them very respectful, hardworking kids. So I really enjoy it. I really enjoy my job. So I would much rather work at a private school than
I'm sure
public school.
Probably better funding.
Yeah, definitely better funding. My office is on the school campus. I'm not working in a hospital and having to travel to different schools, which happens a lot with public schools.
Yeah.
So like there'll be an athletic trainer at a public school that will work 5 different public schools.
It's contracted by all the schools.
Contracted through the hospital, and the hospital just divvies up, hey, this game's more important than this game kind of thing. Yeah. So
does your school have a lot more staff?
Yeah, we have 3 full-time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why we're able to do a lot of rehab. And so that's why a lot of the parents are like,
So do you deal with a lot of chiropractic doctors, and like what's your opinion on that, and how does that like interfere with what you guys are trying to do?
So when I went to school, our professors were like anti-chiropractor. My idea is you teach the kid or patient, whatever, how to take care of themselves. You teach them what they need to do, and then let them do it themselves. The kids are very motivated because they want to get back to playing sports. So if you teach them what to do properly and they actually do it, and you say, hey, if you actually do this, you can get back a lot sooner. Otherwise, you're just going to be dealing with this. Whereas, a lot of chiropractors, not all, but a lot of chiropractors will just be like, oh yeah, here's an adjustment, come back in 2 weeks and, pay me more.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So, obviously we both have a friend that's a chiropractor, and
he seems to be in the kind of, his ideology is like, if you are coming back to see me like multiple times or whatever, then like something like I can't help you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just prolonging the inevitable or putting bandages on the issues.
And that's the type of mentality you really need to have, is like, we're in healthcare, whether I'm an athletic trainer, you're a chiropractor, we're both in healthcare. You want to make sure that the person gets better.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get them in a loop of constantly needing you so that you can get a copay every time, that's kind of scammy, in my opinion.
Yeah. I had a couple of years ago, the plantar fascia in my foot tore.
That's a pain.
Yeah. I was actually in another country. I was in Germany when it happened, and I literally couldn't walk. My coworker had to push me in a wheelchair throughout the airport, which was actually kind of nice because we skipped all the lines.
Yeah.
But
it's like going to Disneyland with a handicap.
Yeah. But not worth it at all because I couldn't walk.
No.
In fact, the guy tried to get me to walk through the scanner, the TSA, whatever they call it there.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I can't walk. Like I literally can't walk. And then they were like, oh, it's fine.
Do you guys think that scanner is like giving us cancer? Because you can opt out of it. You can tell them.
Can you really?
Yeah, you can tell them you don't want to do it.
I don't believe in this technology.
Well, no, it's not that you don't believe
X-ray?
it.
It's not X-ray.
It's not. It's like
they can see through your clothing. Like they can see your body.
Yeah.
And I think they can see like in your anus.
If you're hiding anything.
He's like,
yeah, I mean,
I tested it.
That would be,
and they could
they
definitely found
caught me.
I put up my butt.
And that's how I got caught in Germany.
Yeah.
He's like 5 times out of 10 they'll catch whatever's in your butt.
Yeah,
This is how I know this. No, actually, I don't actually know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure that's true. That they can see in your body cavity.
I know, but if you do elect not to do it, they will just search you. They'll just do like a advanced search, which like I always get pulled over the side because I have such a big dick that they just see like the mass.
Oh, they think it's a bomb.
Yeah, they're like, sir, you must be packing something heavy down there. We're gonna need to do. They always like, okay, I'm gonna put my back of my hand onto your the front of your pants. Is that okay? I'm like, it's more than okay, baby. Like, I asked for this. I'm not saying like
sexually assaulted too.
Wow.
Every time I go travel, I get sexually assaulted.
Me too.
You can be on one of those posters.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you can elect not to do it, and some people I've heard it like argued a couple of different ways. It's like somebody made the comparison of like drinking a Diet Coke. Like drinking a lot of Diet Coke is bad for you. Like it's not good for you. Like high doses of like the sweetener in Diet Coke can quite honestly kill you. Like same thing as with like going through the airport and that little spinny detector is like one not gonna hurt.
It's like half a second.
Yeah, one's not gonna hurt you. But if you're doing like 300 times a day every single day, then probably not great for your body.
Who's doing that?
I mean,
Delta Platinum members.
Well, if you think about it, if you are a business or an entrepreneur and you are on the road, you're a road warrior as they call them, and you're flying 90% of your time at your job, you're going through those sometimes daily.
That's true.
So then at that point, if you're in that position, you really have to, weigh the cost.
Yeah. Also, you may be flying in a small, like a jet, or like not private necessarily, but more private than regular.
You still have to go through that.
Then you can
a lot of
afford
times
the surgery.
they're like the
cancer
normal ones. Yeah.
Oh, like the metal detector.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like I've been through those still.
Yeah, it depends on like if the one is like recalibrating, because they have to like recalibrate every so often. Like they don't just run and run and run.
Mm-hmm.
They have to shut them down, and then they'll open up like they usually have like a metal detector right next to it, and they'll open that up and let people just go through.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't go through that today when I flew in.
My favorite
they just had
one
me
is
pass through the metal detector part.
Oh, you got away with murder, bro. What's up your butt?
Yeah.
when they send the dog around to like clear up the line, and then you just skip the whole thing.
They're
It's
so
like,
cute.
The dog works.
Yeah.
Why don't they do it all the time?
They tell you not to touch him. Like don't touch the dog. But I just want to like be like, he's so cute.
Yeah. If he touches you, is it okay?
It's probably not a good sign because it means that there's
then they'll
something
tackle
wrong.
you for
It's
another
just
reason.
doesn't running.
The dog really likes me. Yeah, can we
He's
have a
chasing
word?
you.
Can we have a word with you, sir?
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get back to my story that you really just kind of
Sorry.
sidelined there.
What were we talking about?
I'm just kidding. My foot.
Oh yeah.
Critical injury in another country where I was left helpless.
Oh yes.
Nobody helped
Continue,
me. Family
sir.
didn't even call.
Well, you had your buddy wheel you through the airport.
Yeah,
so
that did happen. He's a nice guy. Anyway, he actually carried me from my hotel room to the wheelchair, and then through the airport, onto the plane, and then to my car. And I got to my car back in the U.S. and I was
Some
good to go.
VIP.
Yeah.
stuff.
Anyway,
Wow.
so couldn't walk. I had a bunch of internal bleeding in there, so it looked like a lot of blood on the side, and
Was it discolored?
yeah, it was like
Likely.
purple and red and
Jesus.
shit.
You see that often?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when kids sprain their ankle really bad, they'll get all black and blue real quick. Usually not right away, probably the day after, and they're always surprised, like, why is this? I'm like, it's bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, but it's inside. I'm like, it's still
So
bleeding.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Is that from like what's bleeding? The veins or
Well, I mean, you have capillaries that are,
So they just get
feeding the
busted?
cells around the area, and so like that's how you heal. The swelling is actually the healing process, and so swelling. A lot of people think, oh, swelling's terrible. I got to get rid of it. It's actually doing its job by healing whatever you tore.
Mm-hmm.
So the swelling is annoying and painful, but it's doing its job in healing whatever is torn. So like you want swelling for a little bit. You don't want a lot of it in the wrong area. So a lot of times you'll have them wrap it up so that the swelling doesn't travel into like your foot or your toes or whatever. Because like you can get like sausage looking toes.
Yeah.
Some Trump-looking toes.
Yeah. They just stay there forever.
Everybody
No,
talks about his
it
hands
eventually
looking
gets
like sausage
reabsorbed by the
fingers,
body.
but what about his toes? Anybody seen his toes? Can we pull up a photo of Trump toes?
Not a thing. I'll actually look it up. 'cause now
What
I'm
if he
curious.
actually looks like little sausage? What are the little doggies or little smokies? Little smokies,
Yeah, that's what they are.
little smoky Trump toes.
There's when I just Google Trump toes, the first thing is from CNN.com, and they're
Of
like, what
course.
happened when Trump showed me his foot? Opinion.
That is actually a link I'm
It's
looking at
clickbait.
right now.
He has bone spurs apparently.
That's
Oh,
pretty
that's
common for old
He's like a
people.
bunion.
Interesting.
What bunions are.
So there's a lot of pictures that come up of toes when I go to images, but I'm pretty sure they're not his.
How do you know? Because it's just of the foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
true.
one could definitely be a Trump foot.
There's one has a face of him on a toe, which could make sense. Anyway, so I go to the doctor.
Yeah.
He's a what's it called? The foot doctor or
Podiatrist.
Yeah, that's the one. So I go to him. It's in like this strip mall area. I was like, whatever. He seems like a nice guy, good guy. He's one of those doctors. He's like kind of older. He doesn't believe in doing surgeries unless it's absolutely necessary. So he's like, let's try everything else before that. So I was like, okay, cool.
Sometimes that's great. Sometimes if you actually do need surgery and then you wait, then the tissue's already starting to form incorrectly, and then it's, there's a fine line between, waiting and not waiting.
Yeah,
it really just depends on the injury.
Yeah, so I think mine was pretty minor, so I'm sure it was fine. But anyway, so what he did is to heal it. Well, he said it would heal on its own. But he said to
as long
make
as it's still attached.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So to go faster, he injected my foot with something 3 times. It was like 3 different. I had to go in there like 7 times for this rehab thing, and
probably cortisone or
three
something
at a time something. He called it a cocktail.
Yeah,
A
it's
feel-good
probably
shot.
a combination of some anti-inflammatory type injected
steroids or something.
steroids,
Yeah.
cortisone, something.
I kind of like that. He's like, I'm gonna give you a cocktail. It's gonna
That's what he-
feel
that's
real
what
You
he
don't know
called
what's
it.
in it, but it's good for you.
Yeah,
That's
and then my wife was like, "Why didn't you ask?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not a doctor. What do I?"
It's already in my
if
body
he tells
now.
me, I'm gonna be like, "No, I don't want that." Anyway, so he did that, and then they took this like electromagnetic thing and rubbed it on my foot for a while, and then the
Sounds
staff thing, some different things that seem like they probably wouldn't do anything, but do they actually work? Does this stuff work?
For
the
scammed? Foot specifically, I mean, maybe. I don't know exactly what he was using, but we use electrical stimulation on the muscles and joints. I mean, there's a lot of science behind it. It is very temporary. And it can help stimulate some recovery. I mean, there's different modes, different types of machinery, different wavelengths that you can use. A lot of times we'll use, ultrasound, sound waves to help stimulate some cellular recovery.
Now, that seems like it's more science backed, but what he just said sounds like something out of like what they did in like mental patients back in the 20s.
Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah,
like
did he also put it on my head?
Yeah.
Really weird.
Did he also
and then
tell
opened
you
up the roof and like waited for an electrical storm?
Yes.
Yeah. Weird.
Was he like, I want you to also pray 5 Hail Marys afterwards?
He did ask me to say a prayer before he turned it on.
Yeah.
So
he's like, that'll also help.
Yeah. It was like when I was in Thailand before we went in the cave, the guy was like, let's say a prayer. What? No, but then I don't know. I probably couldn't walk for like a week, 2 weeks. I don't know, maybe it was a month. I can't remember how long it was, but after that, it was pretty much all healed. But I would have I can't stand for a long time now, in both my feet actually. And then for a long time, like if I would be hiking or something and I kind of step where my leg kind of bends forward, I'd feel a really strong shooting pain in the middle of my foot. Kind of felt like it was tearing. Like that's how I'd say the sensation feels.
He's honestly telling us this because he wants to get
free advice.
Free
doctor. He's like, I'm going to corner him on the podcast. He can't go anywhere. He has to answer.
I don't have insurance.
Yeah. He's like, so what would you if you had a friend and he had that situation?
No, but I mean, do you think so I went to that doctor and with my insurance and my copays and the things I paid for that were like outside of insurance, maybe it probably cost $5,000 at least. Do you think that was even worth going to? Do you think?
I mean, it's hard to say. There are a lot of you need your feet. It's really important. So if it healed improperly, you could have had a lot more significant issues later on down the line. It's tough to say, but nothing. I don't want to say nothing, but like a lot of times when a significant injury happens, in the foot or like the ACL or sometimes those tendons have a really hard time healing to the point where it was like beforehand. And so the injections and all the procedures that you do help it, but you're still going to have something, maybe not as much as if you wouldn't have done anything, but you might still have something going on after the fact that you still have to work on months and months and years afterwards when you're active. So I mean, there's probably some, exercises or something, stretches that you need to be doing in order to help strengthen it over time. Because, muscle and tendon heals pretty well, but sometimes as it heals, it gets really, really tight. And so when the scar tissue buildup develops over the injury site, scar tissue is not very elastic. And so when the muscle and tendon heal and, it's mixed in with that scar tissue, it doesn't function like it did before.
Like overall, do you think going to see him helped? Like, did you feel better afterwards?
The time frame when he said I would be better, because he said this is the stuff that he used on there he said that's what they will use for sports injuries.
Yeah.
And so when he said it will take about this long for it to heal naturally, if I do these things, it'll heal a lot faster, probably better. And it did in that time. I mean, he could have lied to me, but.
Let me ask you this. Did he take blood from you
No.
and then re-inject it? No. Because there's a procedure where they take your own blood and then like put it in a centrifuge, basically develop like.
Seems like a scam.
No, it works. It's
really?
I mean, it's just like it's using your own blood because I mean, when it swells up, the swelling is what heals the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you can like make a really concentrated dose of it and inject it where it really, really needs it.
Shit.
And
It's like getting a shot of stem cells.
yeah, basically it's using your own stem cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have got that.
Damn.
This guy scammed me.
So
He scammed
I
you.
mean, not everyone knows how to do it, or
Yeah.
you know.
Just call Jordan next time. He'll whip
I
you up a
definitely don't know how to
cocktail.
do it.
Do
I
you
just know
ever
it's been
do you
done.
ever deal with students, kids, athletes getting stem cells?
Yeah, I mean, I've had kids like ACL injuries where they don't want to have surgery and it's only like partially torn, and maybe they're not trying to go to play on the next level or whatever. They'll ask like, "Hey, is this procedure worth it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not really covered by insurance, but if you don't care about money, which some of them don't, then it's possible. You know, it definitely can. It can help. It's not like 100% type.
Is that
thing,
stuff
but-
legal in Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it is now in the U.S., right?
Mhm.
There's like different types of stem cell therapy that is legal, and some of it like you had to go down to like Panama to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, they're not trying to make new babies or something.
Yeah, right.
Using the stem
Yeah.
cells. So
That's what. So if you're getting stem cells, can you take stem cells from a different part of your body?
yeah, they'll take
Take it from your
take
dick. Just, we're gonna take a little bit off the top,
a little bit off the top.
put it right into your ankle.
Well, no, it comes from the blood, from the bloodstream. So they'll take the blood out of your body. I mean, I'm not a professional in this by any means. I just have been
You're on
told
the
it.
record. So.
Yeah, they'll just take your blood and then put it through a centrifuge basically, and try and get the good parts of the blood that work on the reconstruction, and then
Yeah,
just inject it where they want it.
that's interesting.
Some parts of the body are more effective than others, but
I would say overall, if you paid this guy $5,000 and you feel better faster than what he said, he would probably give you like an extra long timeline. It was like probably would take 2 years to fully heal, but if you pay me, I'll be done in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Which, like 6 months is the actual.
I mean
time.
that's a real thing.
Yeah,
For sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really only cost me, I think after insurance, it was like $300 or something. It was mostly the shots that he gave me. I
Mhm.
guess those aren't covered, or they're only partially covered.
Also,
But he also tried to get me orthotics.
That would
which-
definitely help.
which-
That's always my first thing. Whenever kids come in and say, "Oh, my feet or my knees or my lower legs hurt," I'm like, "Okay, let me look at your feet. Do you have flat feet or not?
Yeah.
What kind of shoes are you running in?" Because a lot of them are like track runners or cross country runners,
Mhm.
and so I'm
Shin
looking.
splints.
Yeah, shin splints.
I used to get
and
those.
plantar
the
fasciitis.
worst. Yeah.
I bought some shoes. Do you know that brand? Starts with an O. They make these special shoes for plantar fasciitis.
Not off the top.
They make
of my head.
flip flops and shoes. I got some of the flip flops, and those actually help. So I can't normally
I saw
stand
those.
on a wood floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
can't-
way too big for you.
yeah, they're big. That's what they're meant. They have like an arc in them.
Yeah.
But I can't stand like on this wood floor over here. I
a
couldn't
long period
stand
of
for
time.
more like an hour maybe.
Yeah, it's because
um,
your midfoot falls whenever you're standing. Everyone's a little bit different. So when
Uh-huh.
you're flat-footed, the midfoot of, the bones in the midfoot are attached to the muscles in your shin, and so when you're standing, there's a certain amount of pressure that's put on it, and if the muscles in your feet are weak, then the midfoot falls, and
Mhm.
so that puts stress on the shin muscles and then the muscles on the bottoms of your feet. And so
Right.
your plantar fascia is stressed out a lot when you're standing there for a long period of time.
You
So
know, I've always thought the reason I had this issue is because I work from home,
yeah.
and I had been working from home for like 3 years when that happened.
hmm
And I wonder, because I'm not like walking out to the car and then going from the car into
Less
the office,
repetitions
walking
of
around.
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just mostly sitting in my house, walking around my house.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Definitely plausible.
What have you seen, like since COVID? Have you noticed like a number of athletes drop out of programs because of COVID? Because they're like their parents are concerned, or
Yeah.
is it
Probably like
significant?
10%.
10%?
Yeah.
Kind of just dropped off immediately. They're
The
like,
ones that weren't that good anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that are really dedicated and trying to go to college, they're sticking it out.
yeah.
But the kids nowadays, like it's impossible for us as athletic trainers to make sure everyone has their masks on or whatever. So we have to divvy it up to the coaches, be like, hey, you need to do this. But I'll walk by, none of them have masks on or anything. So it's kind of annoying. But
are you like the little like
the narc?
Yeah, the narc.
Nah, I try not to be.
Yeah.
I just,
like who's responsible ultimately for enforcing that?
the coaches.
Yeah.
And
So if
some of them do a good job,
Yeah.
and some of them don't.
Yeah.
And then
That's a tough
when
one.
they get quarantined, well, here's the thing: is we make them videotape their practices, and well, if they want to, okay, so say someone on their team gets exposed or tests positive, then if they videotape their practices and they follow all the rules, so there's an incentive to following the rules, because if they all stay separated, all wear their masks, all doing what they need to do, then we're less likely to quarantine everybody. And so we're the bad guys that say, okay, we got to watch the video of practice. We got to see, and we'll sneak by practice to see what they're doing, kind of thing. And if they're not following the rules, then if someone tests positive, then sorry, y'all are gone. So everybody, like no one is exempt
But
from.
the big game is on
Including the
Saturday. We
coaches.
need to get to states, Jordan.
That's been on the line. Yeah.
That's like at the ski lifts. Like you
Mhm.
always got to keep a. I mean, you usually do anyway because you have like a gator.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
cold. It's a lot different.
And they're pretty strict about it there too. Like anytime I've ever seen someone with it down, they're just like, "Hey, dude, put it on."
Yeah,
And it really makes sense because they want to keep the lifts open.
They want
Yeah.
to keep their jobs. Yeah.
So-
I mean, shit hits the fan, and they don't have jobs because they got lazy about it. I mean, it's all good intentioned.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
They're not trying to be a dick about it.
yeah.
Yeah. But gotta keep.
Do you think that like when the vaccine comes out, they'll make all the athletes get vaccinated, or do you fear that there's going to be some kind of protocol where like NCAA or I don't know what governs the high school leagues says like in order to be eligible to play you must be vaccinated? Like
I'm sure they're gonna try and incentivize it. I don't know how that's gonna happen as far as monetarily goes, because I mean you can't exactly pay college athletes to do something. There's a lot of issues with that, but
there are rules like getting tested, wearing a mask. Like they have to follow those rules, right?
Yeah.
We also have other vaccination rules. Like you have to have a set of vaccines in order to go to a public school in most states.
Yeah.
Like most areas. I think it depends on the state, but
Yeah, it's state by state.
there's already protocols like that. I mean, I know it's a new vaccine, so there's that, but
Hesitation.
at some point, I think there'll probably be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, Chase and I were talking about it earlier. Even though I'm in healthcare, I'm still hesitant. I mean, I have nursing friends that are, that are getting vaccinated, but, some of them are all for it, like, because they want to, be able to work and not be able in the
Carefree
conditions of worry and, all of that. And so I totally understand that. But then there's some that are like, I still don't know about this, but,
I mean, my wife got it.
Turning way more political than it needs to be, to be honest. But
my wife got it because she works in healthcare, and I remember like she got the first shot, and I was like, "Oh, cool, right?" And she's like, "Technically, it's not FDA approved. It's like approved for emergency use, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a fact sheet that came with the information they gave her, and it was like the vaccine's been the trial was like 15,000 people,
which
15,000
isn't really that much,
right?
to be honest.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is. I don't know how science and trials and all that stuff with
short
biotech
term,
goes.
that's a great turnout, but
But you got to think like if you're giving it to hundreds of millions and then around the world billions of people, there's so much more
from different
variation.
cultures. Yeah,
different cultures, different illnesses, people who have different allergies, shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's every vaccine has like there's a group of people who can't get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there's people who can't get the smallpox vaccine or the flu vaccine for whatever reason, but we may not know who those people are yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a blanket coverage of saying this is like, 100% safe or whatever. I mean, our biodiversity is great enough to where as you were saying, out of like even 1 million people, some people are going to have adverse reactions to a foreign agent to
Exactly.
your body, and some people will be totally fine. And in this case, it seems to be that a majority of the people are fine.
Yeah.
With some, there's always anecdotal evidence about like, oh, after I got the vaccine, like
You got arthritis, or I know someone who got it and then died. Like people are going to die.
Yeah.
Not because of the vaccine per se.
Yeah.
But people will die. There's old people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But you're young, a healthy dude, and you're like, I'm not sure. Like I'm not in the high risk category.
Yeah, it's a risk reward situation. Like right now, I'm not. By me getting it is not really changing my life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I don't necessarily
It's
feel
kind of the
like I
same
need
with
it
me.
right now. you
Right.
know?
Like
I'm
I'm
not saying
mostly
I
at
won't ever
home.
get it, but
Mostly at home because I work from home. Not really seeing people. Sarah's gotten it. So, I mean,
COVID.
our risk of spreading it to other people, we've gotten COVID and she's gotten the vaccine.
yeah.
So our risk of spreading it to other people is pretty low. So I'm like, if I'm the last person who gets it, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But imagine if we're kind of have some kind of concern about that, what you're like, if someone who is high risk for getting the coronavirus, and now you're thinking like, I already have these problems. What if the vaccine is also bad for me? Right? Those people are worried about it too.
Yeah,
It's like which is worse, like getting
the
it.
devil that works best for you, I guess. In that
Yeah,
scenario, I'm not trying to equate
reward.
vaccines with the devil because they're not. We're not anti-vax whatsoever. We're just having a conversation about it. But the point of it all is it's okay that you're hesitant and like on the fence about doing it because you're in such a low risk category. And really, the people that should be getting the vaccine right now at this point should be the high risk elderly populations.
Yeah.
But there will be, we talked about this too, like there will be a point in time where you can just go to Walgreens or Publix or Walmart and get it the same day because it's so widely available.
Yeah.
At that point, then you're starting, the optics of the situation start to look a little different, right? It's like not vaccinating your kids to go to when all the anti-vax like not vaccinating your kid, like it's going to start to look more like that, I think, unless we get to some like herd immunity to where like it doesn't really matter anymore whether if you have the vaccine
with
or
this
not.
with this specific virus. I don't know if herd immunity will ever happen.
Right.
With the way it's been changing in the past couple of months, how there's different variances, but
like
I don't
influenza.
think there's.
It's like influenza. It changes every season.
Yeah.
There's usually a couple of variants that are really strong.
So I guess if we look at it in the way that the optics are on whether you get or don't get the flu shot, like nobody gives a fuck if you don't get the flu shot.
yeah,
Like, except your work.
right.
Works usually. You actually can get paid to get the flu shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get like stipends.
Sometimes the work will get. You can sometimes go to like Publix or CVS or Walgreens, King Soopers, and they'll be like, get a $10 or $20 gift card if you get the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
You get your pack of cigarettes on the way out.
Yeah, exactly.
And a big old Whopper from Burger King.
But you're basically, I mean, you're getting it through your insurance.
Yeah.
So you're just getting kind of a discount on your insurance because you're really paying for it. But I think it'll be like that at some point, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
probably.
Yeah.
But I was also wondering, like, is it going to be where like there's an exclusivity created for people who are vaccinated, like going to concerts, going to?
It's like the first one. They've already announced it.
What?
You can't. There's cruise lines that are going to be doing sailings sometime soon, and you have to be vaccinated.
It's like going to the Super Bowl. They had like 7,500 nurses that had to be vaccinated in order to get tickets to go to the Super Bowl. And it was free to go to the Super Bowl. Which
that's who went, was nurses and stuff?
Well, yeah,
Part of
medical
it.
professionals.
Part of it was?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, we were talking like it's going to be the difference like when you go to Disney World and you it's like standing in line versus having a fast pass. Like you could probably still do some of these things. Like it would be like being vaccinated or standing in line to get tested to get into a concert, right?
So if you have the vaccine, you have to stand in line because you can stand next to people. But if you haven't gotten the vaccine, you get the fast pass because you're not supposed to be near people, right?
I guess
that
that's another. No.
The other way around.
Yeah, like what is going? It's going to be a gatekeeper to some things, and like you just said, the cruise line situation. That's the first example that we've heard of so far, where that could pose as a problem for people who love cruising but don't believe in the vaccine or don't think that they should get it right away or whatever. there's like the Johnson and Johnson single dose just got recommended for emergency use by the FDA a couple of days ago, which means like over the weekend it's going to be probably approved. And then and that uses the old technology of vaccine, right? Where the Moderna and Pfizer uses the new RNA technology of doing that. Does that like satisfy or like make you feel a little bit better about like using it because it's kind of like tried and true? Also, I'm not 100% sure if that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
But
we just know it's different. I think it's a little
different.
less effective, but I think the single shot ones are, right? Do you know about that?
I heard it was like 60 to 70% effective.
Right.
No, I've honestly past couple of months I've just been like, I don't want to hear anything more about it.
Yeah.
Just got so fatigued with it. But yeah, I mean, I don't, just setting the record straight, I'm not anti-vax by any means. I mean, I've gotten vaccinations in the past. But I just like proof. I like testing. I like, time to pass in order to show that it does what it says it does. I mean, there's no reason to, push it if you don't necessarily need it right this minute.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in the category where I don't really need it right now.
Yeah.
So
I think that point right there hasn't really been covered enough by the media or the people who are giving us our information from the departments of health. Because when the FDA approves it for emergency use, it's exactly for that. It's like we determined that the risk of getting this vaccine is less than what it would be getting COVID if you're at a high risk.
Yep.
But not necessarily someone like you or me.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm wondering, and none of us here probably can answer this, but I'm wondering then what is the time frame to where the normal
10 years
approval comes out? Is it 10 years?
I think at least
fucking long time.
Well, as far as like truly seeing long-term benefits and long-term issues with something. Yeah. So you could test something and nothing happened in the year, but then when if you're 20 and you get it, and then when you're 30 and you're trying to have kids and now you're sterile, or if you're like
free birth control, everybody.
Yeah,
no more taking birth control.
Not saying that's what happens, but there's different time frames in your life where you might take it at as a child, and then when you become an adult, then you have something going on. And not saying that the vaccines cause anything, but you would at least want to have the time to pass in order to test if it does.
Yeah, I'll probably take it. Fuck it.
I probably will too at some point, but
I want to be able.
There's so many variances.
Have the peace of mind, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, over the potential risk. I think. I don't know. It's.
I mean, think about buying the brand new PlayStation. There's always going to be a better model that comes out in a couple of years.
Yeah, or I guess the iPhone is also
or iPhone or pretty much any technology. I mean, there's situations where they quickly develop something just to appease the masses.
I don't know if this is giving me ball cancer.
True. We've only had iPhones for 10 years now. So
like the little AirPods that we wear.
Yeah.
Like what kind of damage is that doing? Like I think there's warnings that you shouldn't wear those for longer than 4 hours a day or something.
There's definitely some psychology issues with people having internet on their phones, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
It's like when you have people talk about that, and obviously that topic's been covered to death, right? Mm-hmm. The whole how harmful is social media. It's at the end, I feel like at every end of those conversations, it's like, but
you still have a choice.
Yeah.
But I still can't delete Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
So are we on social media now?
Yeah.
Vaccine to social media. I still have Trump's toes pulled up here. So
click on that photo because you can actually see his it's almost thumbnail.
Like a
it's not Photoshop.
Yeah. It's
from men.wikifeet.com.
Oh my God, there's wikifeet.com.
Oh wow. Where do we go?
For all you foot lovers out there, type in the code.
Oh, you can see George Clooney's. Donald Trump only has one picture. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He really protects
How many
those
times
things.
has it been
Wow.
downloaded? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
How
I
many
know.
times has somebody beaten off to Donald Trump's little thumbnail?
He was
Oh my
born in
God.
1946. He has a shoe size of 12. I'm pretty sure that the government changed this. There's no way it's 12s, right?
What? A
His
size
shoe
12?
size?
I don't know. He's kind of a big dude.
Is he?
Yeah.
Never
Yeah,
little
I think he's like
Never-
over 6 foot.
Never seen him in
right?
person, actually.
I don't know. How tall is Donald Trump? Type that in. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he's over, like, I think he's like 6'1", 6'2".
That could also be changed as well on
That's,
the internet.
yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Like if you ever Google Vladimir Putin and you
Yeah,
go to
he's
like
six- he's
Russia.vladimirputin.com.
6'3".
6'3"? Wow, he's taller than me.
Yeah, he's a tall dude.
That's why people make fun of his hands because the rest of his body's so big.
Disproportionate. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even. Are his hands actually small?
I have no idea.
I don't
to be
think so.
honest.
I think
I'd
people
say
just like
it's
to pick on him, right?
Yeah.
Someone probably photoshopped it. Or,
It's-
I don't know.
Been kind of like
It's just a
politics
meme.
is kind of, it's boring now.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, there's
boring.
no
Can we
challenge.
just acknowledge that when Trump was in office, it was kind of exciting in a bad
Oh,
way?
But just wait, it's about to get exciting because he's
Oh,
coming
no.
back.
Coming back.
Tomorrow.
Making a
Making the
comeback.
comeback train.
First time he'll be speaking publicly tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh,
at the
the
CPAC
Conservative
Political
CPAC,
Action
whatever.
Conference. Yeah.
Right.
Bunch of crazy fuck boys.
Maybe.
Republican
I don't know.
fuckboys.
There's probably some nice people.
Probably. I heard Ted Cruz is came back from Cancun to go.
That was just a
Make it.
bad look on his part. I feel
That's kind of
bad.
funny.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I
bad.
was saying, I was like, I don't blame him. I probably would have went to Cancun too.
I mean, he
Fuck
probably
this
had
place.
the flight plans way ahead of time. How would he know that it's snow?
Probably not. Probably wouldn't do it if I was a politician, but I would have probably done it if I was a resident.
Devil's advocate though, like think about what he went through the past. I mean, obviously it's not as much as Donald Trump, but the past year,
So you need.
I
a
would
vacation.
definitely need a vacation
Yeah.
after.
People
you know,
hate me. I think
Yeah.
I need to go drink some
I mean,
margaritas in Mexico.
I would.
There's nothing
saying.
that
I mean-
margaritas in Mexico can't cure. That's what I'm saying. Either
It
it's,
open his mind, and then he can politicize better. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not a politician, but
It's okay. I don't know. I mean, I always thought like, I know the optics of it look bad, but he's also a senator of Texas, and there's nothing he can really do during that
he's
time.
not
right?
I don't
by
know.
himself either.
What kind of what
Right.
do senators do?
They're lawmakers.
They make law.
yeah.
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 On behalf of their state, but
So I guess he could introduce a law that prevents
I don't
energy
know.
companies from charging. There was like
I don't think so. I
have you
think the
seen-
governor has to do that, right?
I don't know.
I don't think the senator can.
Oh, is that federal?
I don't
That's
think
a
the
federal-
senator makes laws for the state. I think they make federal laws
Oh,
for
true.
the Fed, like to represent, kind of like I mean,
Mhm.
different branch of government, but the representatives too. You're
Yeah.
representing your district of that state, and then senators do a very similar thing.
Also,
Totally different though.
if they're all doing their work, I don't know if Texas is doing, like, if you're a senator, do you like work from home? Because I know like a lot of, like Denver city.
There's gonna be some poli sci guys that are just like,
electicians.
I know
these
they're
guys are
like fucking
idiots.
They
Yeah.
voted. Jesus Christ!
Like, oh my God, it's good.
No
I
wonder
can't get through
Biden's
this.
president.
Yeah. No, like if they're working from home, why can't he just work from the beach on Cancun?
Yeah, exactly.
His little laptop. He's got his little Lenovo laptop, and
I
he's
mean,
like,
all you got to do is delegate to your people underneath you.
Wouldn't
Be
it
like,
be
hey,
funny?
go and do this.
wouldn't it be funny like having a Zoom call with all the
Mm-hmm.
senators and you see Ted Cruz with a beach background and a white nose and sunglasses.
White nose.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
slight
it's just like-
sunburn.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Little
That's
pink on
funny.
the cheeks.
No, I
Some
mean,
like
I
Oh my gosh.
personally, I don't really like Ted Cruz. I think he's like a weasel, right?
Yeah,
I
a
think
little
that's what
bit.
you
He's a
call
little
it.
weaselly.
Flip flops.
I honestly don't
just-
know much about him.
Yeah. Anyway, but I honestly, I think people are so hypocritical.
Yeah.
Anyone else in
Yeah.
his shoes would have done it too.
Yeah.
sure.
Right?
You
Like,
get the
people are people complaining about
least he
shit
came
all
back.
the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
He could
yeah,
have still been
exactly.
there.
The thing is, like,
Should've.
it was such an easy target. Like
Yeah.
doing that, like he's like, oh fuck.
And
Yeah.
right now, everyone's targeting conservatives, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So why would he do it? Just like
It's
he
got-
should have known.
it's-
Somebody should have advised him.
Yeah.
His advisor should have been like, "Dude, that's not a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
Your
Secretary's like,
state
"Maybe
is
don't do
like
that."
in a horrible condition right now."
I don't. Did he leave while it was bad, or did he leave beforehand and then he came back just really slow?
Yeah, it was
right
like,
after.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like
Shit was hitting the fan.
it was
that's a bad
bad.
look.
He went there and came back the next day.
Yeah, because he got such backlash, and then he was like, "Fuck, not a good idea." And then he was like, "My plan was always to come back. I was just shuttling my family there."
And then somebody
Like,
leaked his
really?
wife's text.
Yeah.
And it was like,
That's
actually,
fucked.
I was gonna stay there the whole week, but I was gonna work there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should have just said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So politics have gotten so boring that this is what we're bitching about.
Ted Cruz.
Whether he
going
should have
to
came back
fucking
earlier,
Mexico.
not gone.
Yeah.
So
Kind of
dumb.
nice, but also kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to complain about something,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh,
Our
those Syria
politics.
airstrikes, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
But our politics should be boring, right? Why does politics doesn't need to be sensationalized?
Well-
Doesn't need to be exciting. There's like we're not like nobody's doing it for the ratings except Donald Trump. It should be boring enough to where like government can operate without like a showmanship to it, or like
I definitely think social media has blown that up, though.
Yeah.
Because like
100%.
10, 15 years ago, if Ted Cruz left and came back, no one would really care.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
because someone saw it and blasted it on the internet, then everyone had an
Immediately.
opinion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like if you don't like the guy, it's extremely easy to just be like,
it's an
wow,
easy
what a
target.
piece of shit.
Yep. Just pile on top of
Yeah.
whatever they're doing, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
So I keep seeing like the bills, the electric bills, gas bills and stuff from Texas. It's like I think one person showed it was like just over $9,000 for 19 days of electricity in
Yeah.
Texas.
I've seen 17,000.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
unbelievable.
They're like, yeah, I had a hot tub and a microwave running.
Honestly,
$9,000.
I think it's kind of criminal. Like if you're not, I mean, I'm sure there's something in their terms and agreement that's like, we can change the price of electricity based on the demand at the
surge
time,
pricing.
which
Yeah.
is true, because if you look at your electric bill, you'll see that
There's always
during
a
certain
fluctuation.
times, they'll increase it. But to increase it, what was it, like 9,000%?
It was like 10,000,
100,000%,
10,000,
whatever it was.
percent
I mean, from
increases.
from your electric bill to go from maybe like $300 a month if you have like a decent sized house to $10,000-$20,000, that's insane.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
You can't do
people-
that,
they're already losing their houses from structural damage. Like
right?
now, they're not going to be able to pay for electricity.
Yeah,
But the thing about Texas is they're so proud of their freedom and independence, and like capitalism isn't gonna fix that. You need like government like regulation, which like Texas is not about.
right. Which
So-
which is totally fine if that's what Texas wants to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then if you have your government come in afterward and say, "Hey, you can't charge them $17,000," then that's not how capitalism works. You have to let it play out.
Yeah, you have to let
Those
the
people
market
need to pay
correct
up
We're not a
itself.
true
Pay their bill.
capitalist,
Exactly.
anyways.
Yeah.
So like everyone's like, oh yeah, you're a capitalist. Well, I mean, we're in the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah, whenever the red and blue states kind of
It's like
argue,
once you figure out something that doesn't work, you regulate it. That's what the government does. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
there was an issue with that. Like, we need to like when they did the whole spying on the U.S. citizens thing.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really a lot of that before,
Yeah.
allegedly. But then it was like 9/11. We had to find the enemies. So that's government interfering in our lives. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
they do that.
the easy example is seatbelts. Like, how many people had to die
Right.
before the government was like, "Yo,
Or wearing a
seatbelts,
mask.
you have to
Yeah.
wear." Yeah,
Right. A lot of
wearing a mask.
some states know, but
Yep. It's just regulation, like you said, doesn't happen until a couple people have unfortunately suffered at the hand of it.
yeah. And then it's the matter of our lawmakers to say, when we make this law, we're taking the freedoms away from people. Is it worth it? And then that's when they make their vote, right? There's
Yeah.
some politicians I think who are just like, no. Rand Paul's like that, right?
Yeah,
He's very extremely libertarian, I think,
yeah.
where he's
Less
like,
government, the better.
no state should have any say of like people have to wear a mask, for instance. That's the most recent thing. Or like you can't use plastic grocery bags, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it's
small
certain
changes
things
for the better.
Right.
Certain things cannot be corrected in the free market, and so government, like for instance,
like public
Colorado.
schools.
What'd you
Like
say?
Like public schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, inner city schools are terrible.
Uh-huh.
You know, and so
So you have private schools for that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we went to an entirely like socialist type country, then private schools would be
Right.
Yeah.
like non-existent, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
They would
in some people's eyes might be great, but then in the ones that are actually using it,
right.
not so great.
If you had
Yeah.
true socialism, you wouldn't. But in realistic socialism, I think you would have private schools still.
Yeah,
and
it
then
just
you would have
our numbers would be we would lose a lot of employees, a lot of students, and I mean, yeah,
Right.
it would be detrimental to us for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was saying, like, in the instance of Colorado, like the governor, who's a Democrat, just introduced like ideas and legislation to incentivize more people to buy electric vehicles because the pollution is getting so terrible in Denver because of the way our city is like located right in front of the mountains, and like the pollution just kind of sits and hovers here.
Yep.
Like
It's
the,
like in
the free
California,
markets
too,
are not
on
going
the
to
other
fix
side.
that fast enough. So governments have to come in and like incentivize the EV
Well, it's like
insurgents.
anytime they're subsidizing things, like I don't think that is like capitalist, right? Your government basically saying like if
Well, it is if you're
if you-
taking the tax money from public citizens to fund those programs.
but the government is basically deciding how the market should go. They're
Yeah.
saying like we're going to force the electric vehicle market to grow by giving people
Stipends.
tax credits
tax
and things like
credits.
that, or the companies to build their factories or whatever. Like Tesla was first profitable in their first quarter of profitability. They were profitable because of government
stock
tax
market.
credits. Right. So that means the government is artificially making Tesla profitable,
Yeah.
which some people see as a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, there's a debate there, but I mean, that's government interference at its finest.
So like, yeah, you if you were an entrepreneur and you were trying to decide what to invest your money into or what company to start, like it would be a good idea to do some research of what they're forecasted to, like, for the government to invest into, course correct what the free market's not going to do, like solar, alternative energy, higher standards of whatever, healthcare, etc. Because you know that you're going to get a little bit of help from the government, local or federal, to make your business happen.
And a lot of people did. Anyone who invested in Tesla like 2 years ago
Are already seeing
a lot of
returns.
I mean, so something I don't know.
But then again, is that in part of okay? So yes, the government did have a small play in that, but Tesla was also one of the only companies that truly had a all electric vehicle that was worth buying, at least.
I'm not saying
I'm
not saying they boosted Tesla per se, because they did it for every company. It's like any
they
company
just happen to be the biggest, and
exactly
they
the
happen
most
to profit
effective.
mostly.
But the point is that they could potentially be destroying companies who deal with oil and non-natural gases or natural gases, because now they're pushing all this alternative electric based whatever,
pushing something. So,
but oil is one of the most subsidized
you're still gonna
commodities
have,
in the United States besides corn. Like corn and oil are massively subsidized by the government.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
so
it's,
they already are getting. They're already feeding from the hand of the government.
But the thing is, once you're feeding from the hand for years and years and years, that becomes the baseline, and then you do your business based on that baseline.
Yep.
So now, when you're giving someone else an advantage on top of that baseline, they have the advantage.
Yeah, I guess in ideal world, they shouldn't base their business baseline or budget or whatever.
We'll have to make adjustments just like any other company.
In the real world, the government shouldn't give tax credits and subsidize business.
Yeah, that's
Here's
fair.
something that's criminal. So Elon Musk has a bunch of factories in offices in California, right? And he complains to the California government, "Hey, you're shutting down my businesses. I make cars. People need cars. It's an essential business, right?" So they say, "Okay, that's true. we're going to let you your workers come to your business and keep working now, but we're still going to make the gyms and the movie theaters and this and that shut down, right? So, but Tesla still gets PPP, right?
They still
So basically, the government. I mean, whether you disagree with the shutdowns or not, in any state, the government has now basically artificially destroyed portions of our market. And there's literally nothing those people can do about it.
Yeah.
If you were an investor in Tesla, or if you worked for Tesla, owned Tesla, versus someone who just owned a restaurant or a movie theater or a gas station, well, maybe not a gas station, something else that was closed, right? A hair salon.
Well, even gas stations too, because like a lot of people weren't driving to work and stuff, so they definitely got hit, even if the workers that are actually in the shops didn't go. But
there's always going to be exceptions to it.
As long as you have the lobbyers to say we're an essential business. I mean, with the exception of like hospitals and grocery stores, right? But
like fast food joints like Taco Bell, I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure they got government aid money, but they've profited most off of this, like
fast food industry. Because people are ordering out.
Like right now, if you're a company that's looking to hire food service industry workers, they're all getting hired by Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, all these like fast casual places, because they were allowed to remain open and operate for obvious reasons. And less people were eating at full service restaurants. They're not going to stop going out to eat. Like, they're going to go to these where they can actually go to, which is, Taco Bell. Or I'm not saying like, that everybody's going to Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A now, but I'm just saying like they definitely
everyone's going
profited
to
off of this, and also probably received PPP money.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the government did it wrong. We all know that. I think we can all agree on that. And they're just trying to pass another $2 trillion of wrong spending that we're all going to be upset about again. But it fucking happens.
Speaking of EV, I saw that Hyundai just had one of the most costly recalls in the history of automotive industry.
On their Ioniq car or what?
Yeah, their electric vehicle. They recalled 82,000 of their EVs, and they had to replace all the batteries.
Why? Wow.
Because fires? 15 of them blew up and caught fire.
I almost leased one of those.
Did you?
Yeah. Because they were like $100 a month to lease.
Really?
Which is like for an electric car to lease an electric car.
It was terrible too. It's like, hey, we'll give them to $100.
No, I think because they get the taxes incentives, so they can make the leases cheaper.
So cheap, yeah.
But wow,
that's crazy, right? Most costly.
So they only sold 82,000 of those.
I mean, who's buying
that's
EV from Hyundai? I don't know.
People who don't have Tesla money. I'm sorry. Not all of us are rich.
I'm sure they're not cheap.
Just gotta wait.
I think they're
the next cheap. Model and the next model come out.
Yeah. But
Jeep just came out with their electric Wrangler.
Yeah, officially.
I think it came out. Yeah, I think people have.
Ford has a Mustang too.
That's right.
It came out. It doesn't even look like a Mustang, to be honest with you. Which.
Yeah,
I mean, it still looks kind of cool, but it looks more on the SUV type than like a true Mustang. But,
right.
I mean,
wonder do they put some artificial sound in it too? Because part of a Mustang is like the engine, right?
I wonder.
Sounds cool.
You can do that with a Tesla,
like a Porsche?
where the Tesla has instead of like a horn, an actual horn, it's just a speaker. So like when you honk the horn of a Tesla, it's just playing a horn sound through the Tesla.
Can you record your voice?
Yeah, you can put in your custom sounds. Like, yeah, you didn't know that?
So you could say like the "I Got Bitches" song.
Yeah. So the one that came with the update is they have a whole range of fart noises, and so you can click the little toggle button where anytime you hit it, it makes a fart noise. So
why am I not seeing this on TikTok?
No.
So we went snowmobiling, and we're waiting outside the snowmobile rental office, and people are coming and going. And so every time somebody came out, I hit the fart noise and made noise as they came out, and they were like, "What the fuck is that?"
I've only seen the video of Alexa farting for you.
Oh,
have you done that? Alexa.
Yeah, that's right.
So weird.
So weird, but kind of funny.
Wait, can you make it like it every time you press the gas pedal? Or not, I mean the motor pedal.
Vroom, vroom, bitches.
What do you call that? Just the pedal?
The accelerator.
Accelerator?
Yeah, the gas
It's not
pedal.
gas anymore.
Accelerator pedal?
The accelerator. I guess that's what it is.
So every time you hit that,
Yeah.
it'll make the noise.
I don't think so. Maybe one day they'll introduce that, but I would assume like are people jailbreaking their Teslas? That's what I want to know. Like, are they
That'd be
breaking it
hilarious.
to install third-party
Dude,
software?
and void your warranty on a $50,000 car. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
guess if you.
I mean, if
but
you pay cash for it and you want to do whatever you want to do,
if you're a
like,
rich
Yeah,
guy and
right,
you,
whatever.
you got money,
I'm sure people do it. I wonder
I'm
how
sure.
easy they are.
invest
or
in
hard.
Tesla, then get a Tesla.
I wouldn't trust jailbreaking it because so much of the car's functionality relies on the computer.
Yeah.
And if you
it
have a
updates
buggy,
so frequently, I'm sure.
Right, one
Ima-
little bug and it
yeah, and
runs
then
you into a pillar.
then now you can't brake. I guess the braking system's probably independent of the computer.
I would
But
hope so.
there's
You
couple
get a
things
virus
that
on
aren't.
your car
I'm sure the braking system's all built
Switches,
into the
gas, and-
computer, right?
or accelerator and pedal, brake
don't know.
pedal.
I heard they shut down the Model 3 production facility.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
to increase the price of Tesla?
Yeah, artificially inflate the cost of
Mhm.
a
Wait,
Model 3.
They
Create
want
demand.
they want the price of Tesla to go down so they can do buybacks and then increase the demand of Tesla.
Are we talking about shorting Tesla Model 3s?
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
exactly what they're doing.
You got into
the past week, Tesla has gone down like
10%.
$150.
Yeah, I saw that. It was at like 6 something the other day.
Yeah, I mean, at the highest it was over 800.
Yeah.
That's
and
a
then now
bubble.
it's at like 650.
Gotta be.
It went up to 700 and it's kind of
Their what's it called? PE ratio. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the amount of money you make per share divided by, or that formula is like 1,000. I think it was at some point it was like 1,500. Which
Is it really?
Which what that means is it would take 1,500 years for you to make your profit off of the company if they continued to be this, like if they didn't innovate and grow anymore, like they made the same amount of profit at that point in time forever, it would take 1,500 years
Jesus.
for you to make money from that investment.
Oh boy.
But
That's
obviously
insane.
they should grow their profits, which would make that number go down a lot.
So are you trading?
I am. With COVID and everything, I've definitely started to look into stock options and trading. And,
Because you're bored.
well,
what do you mean by
that?
COVID?
And I was honestly, I was kind of concerned about my job, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
So there was a point where I was like, if this virus keeps going the way it is, and I lose my job, because like sports aren't exactly essential. I mean, they are in the South because football.
Yeah.
But if we didn't have football, then we probably would have shut down, to be honest.
Huh.
But yeah, so if there's no sports, then I was like, what am I going to do for money? So,
Gambling.
Yeah, gambling
Sounds
via
good.
stock market. So
It's essentially what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
educated gambling, yeah.
Educated gambling.
Yeah.
I read a book on how to play blackjack. Is that educated gambling?
It's no, because like blackjack is different because the house always has the edge. But if you know something, then you have the edge.
That's true.
Like you can never have
Yeah.
the edge in blackjack unless, well, I guess if you're counting cards, you can, right?
Yeah, there's ways
In
where
like
you
single
can-
deck,
Yeah.
If you're able to see the cards,
yeah.
if you had like face up.
It's technically cheating. So is insider trading, I guess,
Yeah.
in a way, is cheating.
I mean, at face value, if there's two options. It's either going to go up or go down, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, technically that's a 50-50 shot. But
Yeah.
if you, read news and kind of see tendencies of a company and when they have earnings, historically, do they go up or do they go down? Or,
Right.
seeing, how many other companies out there are putting out like smart money, just seeing if, big companies are putting in millions of dollars. They obviously know something all at one time. That's kind of sketch. So yeah, I'm going to go in the same direction that they're going.
Yeah.
So then
I guess
you kind of ride the wave.
the thing is like those companies are also wrong, or those brokers or those big financial companies are also wrong a lot of times too.
Yeah.
They lose a lot of money too.
They
And
just
so
don't advertise
the thing is,
that.
those companies collectively spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on research and automated computer like algorithms to search the web and news articles and shit like that,
Find patterns.
to do all that. And so like to think that like me at home could like make
Outsmart.
outsmart them, make more
The
money
$1 billion machine.
I mean, there's some hedge funds that make like 30-40% return on investment.
Yeah.
And maybe they're getting lucky, maybe they just figured it out. They're in like a good market or something. Like some of the guys who were shorting some of these companies, that's their business. Like they short companies and make a lot of money doing it.
You find what works for you and you just keep doing it over and over again.
And then somebody finds out and fucks your idea over, and you have to figure out something new.
I've read too many stories though as of late of like people like you or I getting into this and following somebody or reading Reddit and then
get caught holding the bag is what they say.
Yeah.
So you follow, you see that there's a huge trend upwards and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get in on it.
Yeah.
Then you get in on it and all of a sudden it crashes because everyone's taking their profits from the people that took it way before you.
Yep.
And then
sell the news, right?
Yeah, sell the news. Yeah. So
that's the thing is like when you find out about a secret or a tip, it's already too late. Yeah. It is already too late. Yeah. So
especially
in that way, it's like gambling.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to get in on something before it becomes popular, you usually are getting into it because you believe in it, you have a hunch, and that at that point it's a true gamble. You don't know whether or not it goes up or down, or so in that sense it's high stakes gambling, and depending on how much you're.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to get rich real quick? Yeah, you're probably going to get caught just like gambling, But if you truly truly believe in a company like Tesla, like, a couple of years ago, I'm sure there was a ton of people that really was like, Elon Musk, it has something going here. So they invested, and 2 years later, they're
yeah. I mean,
a lot better off. But
people do it. People make money. There's day traders who do it. I mean, people are making money on their investments, right? Like all those financial firms, they make
especially
money
in a highly bullish market.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible not to make money.
Yeah.
But
and a lot of those people are making money because they deal with one type of thing that they know extremely well.
And they only trade like 5 companies that they really watch heavily.
And I don't doubt if you know a company well, you know the history, you know the people who run it, this, that. I don't doubt that you could make money.
Yeah.
Right. And you do that as your job.
Yeah. I mean, if you are watching the news, and that's the thing is like our brother does that a lot. Is he pays attention to the news and he does this, and I was asking him all about it. And I was like, well, how much time are you dedicating to this? And he
watching it like all day.
Yeah, he's like, sure. I'm not going to lie. I spend quite a bit of time doing this, but it's only because the nature of my other job allows me to have this time to do this. But if you're like you or I, in your
so my job specifically, I don't go in till the afternoon or noon time. And so when the market's open at 9:30, I can watch it for 3 hours, and I'm able to do that. And I'm just sipping my coffee, getting ready for work, watching the markets, trying to see what the day looks like, if it's going up or down. So I'm able to do that, but it's definitely not a full-time thing. I mean, I'm not.
Did you make money off of GameStop yet?
If
you lost money, it's okay. You don't have to tell
us.
No,
I didn't lose money, but I didn't really gain money either. It's kind of like I got some, lost some.
Yeah.
And then it's just like,
sounds like the stock market.
Yeah. There's a guy who made a video. He was like, so I saw the stock, it was going up today, so I bought some. And then as soon as I bought some, it started going down. So I got scared, so I sold it. But then it started going back up again, so I bought it again. And then it started going down.
You gotta stick to your strategy and just,
Wasn't it Mark Cuban that said that it's like day trading is kind of a joke, and if you want, he's like, you're probably better off taking that money to go to Vegas, gamble there.
For some people, statistically speaking, people try and do day trading just to, get rich quickly, and that's not how it is. You have to really hone in on your craft and try and stay less emotional. And if you get greedy and impatient or whatever, you're gonna lose.
That's the thing with me is I have patience issues. So I couldn't see myself being a day trader. Oh, I guess if you're day trading, then
well, even day trading, because like you don't want to be in the trade for very long. You want to see, you want to set it up so that, you get in at a certain point, it spikes up, and then you get out.
Like the other day, so Tesla was down like 13% in one day.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're thinking like it's down 4%. So I'm gonna buy, I don't know. Let's just say you do that.
But then it spikes 20% and it's in a green.
Yeah. Or you buy it when it's down 4%. Can you stomach going down another 6-8%?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially
if you're a day trader that has like $100,000 you're
I think the general rule is not to trade more than 10% of your portfolio,
right.
and so that and set tight stop losses. But I mean,
which
sometimes
is your portfolio your liquid assets, or is that your margin as well?
I guess it depends on what you're. I work only cash.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fuck with margins and end up
risk
owing
involved.
somebody my house. Yeah. So
like that kid that found out that he was like $700,000 or something like that in the debt and ended up offing himself.
Yeah.
What a terrible
Robin
thing
Hood
to happen.
It's because they're it's that's the problem with it being so accessible. Like it's very good for people like you and I who are not in that work area.
Right.
And so we have the ability to kind of dip our toes into it, and it'll be kind of a difference maker as far as like, getting ahead or not. But then if you don't educate yourself before you do that, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Like if you're just buying and selling stocks, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to lose the money you have.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like options
are very risky.
Like if you're selling
puts, calls and puts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it goes the opposite
it's infinite
way,
loss, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's infinite loss for sure.
Until you pull out.
And that's what happened with GameStop. And so that's why, the whole idea was to, all of these companies were shorting the company, GameStop. And then when it spiked up, they were shorting, so they were borrowing shares, and they had to owe back those shares at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to keep that stock higher than a certain point, so that they had to owe all these shares. And the contracts were up. I don't know if it was a week out or a month out, but they were trying to keep that the strike price way, way high, so all these companies had to owe millions and billions of dollars.
Because isn't it like if you're shorting something, at some point, if the value of it is going too high, you have to put more collateral down, right? You either have to pull out and take the loss, or you have to put more collateral down, which is.
So then it was creating more and more and more shares that were being shorted, and then more and more people were buying calls, I believe. And so as the price kept rocketing sky high, they had to keep dumping in collateral, and so
eventually they pulled out, right? Or at least I think it's
some of them did.
Maybe we don't want to say the name on the podcast, but the one company who lost billions of dollars.
Yeah. There's some company or some brokerage companies that halted trading, so it forced the price to go down to give some time to the
Marvin.
Yeah. They weren't the only ones, but they definitely were the biggest, because
it was any company who couldn't actually pay the collateral of their clearinghouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Which basically is small brokerages.
Small brokerages, and the most popular one for retail traders like you and I would be Robinhood, because
they were the first free one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can. Most brokerages are free. Like
Fidelity,
I switched to Webull.
Charles Schwab, I think, is free, right?
Yeah, Charles Schwab.
You switched to Fidelity?
No, Webull.
Webull.
Webull's like kind of like Robinhood.
Yeah,
it's like another.
It's the same thing, right?
Startup type company.
Very, very similar. The interface is a lot different, so
it is. It's kind of confusing, honestly.
It started off confusing, but once you get used to where things are.
By the way, use our promo code in the description to get 2 free shares of Webull.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We'll input, and then you can select which one you want. It'll be at random. So maybe I'll get the free shares, maybe Miles. Maybe
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you trade cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Nah, I don't.
Dogecoin.
I mean, I would like to get into it at some point. Just I'd kind of dabble in it a little bit. just in case the dollar goes to shit. So, not saying that cryptocurrency would be the thing to take its place or anything, but you never know.
It would be things that are backed against the dollar, like gold. Gold would skyrocket if the dollar went to shit. Bitcoin would skyrocket.
I gotta imagine, for instance, let's say you have a Venezuela type scenario in the U.S. Right?
Yeah,
dollars
inflation
worth
goes
like
crazy.
$100,000 now, right?
Yeah,
Bitcoin's got to be useful there because now it's unregulated, not paying taxes on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be worth a lot.
Well, you pay taxes if you sell it.
No, I mean if you actually own Bitcoin.
If you own it, you can't tax Bitcoin in that way. Like you
which
can't
is
tax your wallet.
Incentivizing people to buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think we've had this conversation before, but it's a superior technology to paperbacks.
But that's how I think it'll fail though.
Because it's superior.
Not enough people
because
are
because it's hard. It's hard to regulate it.
Oh well, if it's harder to regulate, I guess it would be
because government won't adopt it.
It's
not going to be the currency of the U.S. Government's not going to adopt it unless they know that, like they know where every Bitcoin goes and what it's used for.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if the government doesn't adopt it. It's about the free market adopting it, because that ultimately is the engine of the United States economy.
Yeah,
currently.
So currently when you have people like Tesla, or if Walmart allows you to buy groceries with Bitcoin, or Target comes into, then you start to have more of a government interest into trying to understand or adopt Bitcoin.
And then they regulate it.
Yeah.
How can you regulate it though?
They regulate it on the company. So if you have X profit from sales in Bitcoin, then maybe they actually tax it at a higher rate than they do like dollar sales. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows where it goes?
We'll see. All I'm saying is that Elon Musk said it was too high.
Yeah, then it dipped.
And
what an asshole, right?
Right.
People wanted.
It's because he wanted to buy more.
Yeah,
he's probably
Tesla
sold
bought
it when it was
$1.5 billion worth. Like, if there's anything to say about it, is when these big time CEOs of companies are buying into it, it's going places.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
The thing
Because that was the fear early on, 5-10 years ago. People were like, oh, you're going to put your money into this and then it's going to go away.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to use it.
And you're not going to get your money back because it's not regulated by the government. And so
it's not insured. Like if something happens to your Bitcoin wallet and you go in for, I'm not saying this happens, but and Bitcoin's not there anymore, well, you're fucked.
It's literally worthless. Like
theoretically,
when you have gold, like you have the gold.
Yeah.
But it's digital, so there's no physical value of it.
So everybody, I want you to sell your Bitcoin right before this episode comes out, and then he said that, then it dips a little bit, then buy back.
We'll pull it, Elon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, when Elon bought or Tesla, I guess I should say, bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, it shot up to like 53, right?
Yeah.
And their profit, or I guess dividends, right, was like $600 million. Which, like, if you think, like, I don't know what Tesla's P&L, their profit and loss is every year, but you got to think, like, it's probably the most profitable, like, probably doubled their profits
within a week.
Just
by saying
didn't make any more cars,
making
didn't
a news
code any more code.
Yeah.
Literally just from their investment in Bitcoin.
Right. So now they're profitable again.
Yeah.
And Elon was like, well, I was going to buy another 1.5 billion, but it skyrocketed. So let me get this bitch back down into the low 30s, and then we'll buy another 1.5.
So I was just looking at, I wanted to know how much of Tesla Elon Musk owns, because you said like Elon Musk, right? Because we all think like he just owns Tesla.
Yeah.
And so he and Jeff Bezos are neck and neck. They always flip-flopping, right? Richest person in the U.S. at least. 21%. That's it.
He owns 21%.
Just 21%. Imagine if he had kept 50% instead.
They
probably wouldn't have been successful. Yeah,
they wouldn't have been. He's talked about it.
But imagine if he could have
almost going bankrupt.
Imagine if he could have.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if I don't know, I could walk on water.
Imagine if I bought Bitcoin when it was worthless.
2010. $5 a coin.
I know somebody.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I would be retiring early. That's what I would do.
Me too.
Yeah, just hang out, do this.
Imagine if you bought $500 in GameStop like a couple months ago.
I'm sure there's tons of people that were in that scenario,
Yep.
or the people that hung on
sold
to it, and even through the up and down had tons of loss.
Yeah.
And then it skyrocketed last week.
Even if you had it, even if you had it when it was like way before, when it's actually worth something, like $100 or something.
Yeah.
And then you just held it. It went down to like it was like a $2 or something, right? $4.
Like early January.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Before it
Real
skyrocketed.
Yeah, I don't.
Went up to 400 and something.
No,
and
but
then
before that, when it was worthless, basically, before
Like-
it got squeezed.
$8.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
don't know.
Right?
I think they were I think it was like 20 something, and then they were trying to, the hedge fund companies were trying to short it down to like 10 or lower.
Yeah.
I believe.
We could just look it up.
Do a quick little googly search on that. Oh, look, that's a little picture of your cat Yoshi. He's so cute.
Don't talk about him.
He has eye diarrhea.
Yeah.
What
So
is diarrhea?
yeah,
He has like
Goop
stuff come out of his.
it was about 20. But
Okay.
if you look back, if you look back in June of last year, it was $5.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And
So it actually was going up, and so that's why the hedge fund companies were like,
But
let's get it back down.
nobody's going like, I'm gonna put my 10% of my portfolio into GameStop because I believe in it.
Yeah,
long term.
yeah.
I mean,
That's the
You know?
thing. It's like
from June till this year, it went up like over 200%. Probably because people were home, more game sales.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
For
PlayStation 5 came out and Xbox, and they were like,
Mhm.
"Hey, we're gonna try not to do CDs anymore."
And then think
And then-
about all
and
the
then
people
people
that
were
were
like,
using
"Yes!
Reddit
GameStop.
that were trying to push it to go back up.
Right.
It was I mean, I'm being stereotypical here, but a lot of, computer nerds and video game nerds that,
Wow,
use
that's
Reddit
racist.
and stuff. Yeah, very much so.
No.
Sorry.
You're-
I mean, I'm one of those.
But why is the bull synonymous with the stock market?
I was actually wondering about this the other day. I'm like, it's kind of funny how in New York there's Wall Street, right? But then you look at like Chicago, they have the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Bears. I'm like, wait, those are the two animals regarding the stock market. I don't understand that, but yeah, I think it's just coincidence. But to be honest, I have no idea.
That's why they call it a bullish market, right?
Yeah, bullish means it's going up, bearish meaning it's going down.
Oh, the history of the bull and the bear market. It was about the same time another animal symbol had made its appearance in the marketplace. The term bull originally meant the speculative purchase in the expectation that a stock price would rise. The
Yeah.
term was later applied to the person making such purchases.
Yeah.
So I guess
Doesn't
that's
say where it came from though.
yeah, you always see like pictures when like the stock photos that like CNN or any of these news outlets use when they talk about the stock market. It's
Yeah.
like always like a bull statue. It's like, oh,
Yep.
the stock market on Wall Street, blah blah.
I mean,
blah.
ideally, you always want the stocks to be bullish tendencies because that just means all the companies are doing better.
Yeah.
So, but there gets to a point where all these companies are doing so well, and it creates a bubble, and there's always going to be a pullback at some point.
Yeah, like why did we have a 33% decrease in our GOP or GDP, and we were in a bullish market still? Explain that.
I wish I could.
That's when
I'm
I started to become very concerned and
that has a lot to do with government spending,
inflation, or artificially inflating the market with stimulus packages.
I became concerned when we went to a bar a year after shutdowns, and there weren't that many people in there, and I kind of wondered like how they were still open.
Yeah, it's because they're
Because of debt, right?
yeah they're
Credit.
collecting debt right now, anybody that you see, almost besides like your Taco Bells, your fast food chains, your fast casual to go only restaurants, if you go to a restaurant right now, unless it's like a really trendy, always packed, like we went to Snooze today, and I'm sure they're doing okay. I'm sure they've accrued a little bit of debt in all this, but all these companies that you're like wondering, how are these still open? Like, how are they still surviving? A lot of them already have gone by the wayside, but the rest that remain and hang on now most likely have tons and tons of debt.
Oh, definitely. Especially if they're like inner city where their rent for whatever building that they're
like in New York,
having. Yeah.
Boston,
New York's the worst. Like I can't imagine the price it costs just to say that your restaurant is at a certain location.
18% at least.
Yeah.
18% rent. I mean, in New York,
18%.
18% of your sales goes to the landlord.
When you're doing good business, but right now it's like 100%.
You have to do volume.
Right?
That's the thing, and you have to keep your labor and your food costs down.
Is that the contract? Like 18% goes to it, or you're saying typically that's 18%?
No, typically they'll ask for 18% of your
on top of
your
a base
sales.
Value, or just flat
For sales.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you're not doing business, then
there's a MAG, what's called a MAG, a minimum annual guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
So they say usually it's based on a projected amount of revenue, and then a percentage off of that, and then you generate that number.
So then when a situation like this, like the pandemic happens, where it's just like a huge catalyst that changes the projection, then what do they do?
So two things happen. The landlords go, we don't give a fuck, and the government comes in and says you have to give a fuck and change it. Or all these businesses go out and you see empty streets, and then the industry has to change. The industry has to go back down to 10%. Because the landlord has first and foremost the interest of filling the space, right?
Yeah.
And you can't fill the space if you're charging 18% and nobody's making money.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. Like, we haven't realized, like, the breaking point hasn't, like, people think like we're past and we're getting better. We have not seen the breaking point of the American economy yet. We're still holding on. Companies are accruing debt. There's going to be a point where in like a year or so, when they go, okay, we have to start paying back these loans or else we go into default, and they can't pay back their loans because they're still paying 18% rent or whatever. And then they go bankrupt. And then you see, like in the fallout of the 2008 financial crisis, empty strip malls, empty buildings, warehouses. And then the artists move in and it gentrifies the neighborhood.
It's the trickle up, right? The trickle up economy.
I guess.
The small guy starts losing his job.
Yep.
He can't pay for the more luxurious stuff in his life. So then people in like higher income start losing their jobs.
Yeah.
And then people can't pay their mortgages. Mm-hmm. All this like domino effect of a breaking economy. People, so much job loss.
Yeah.
People can't get a job because no one's buying things.
It'll be interesting to see, like, every state has different ways of handling the situation. It'll be interesting to see, 5 years down the line, which cities are thriving and which aren't.
Yep. Yeah, I can guarantee it won't be the people that held on to lockdown the longest. I keep saying this, and like this has also been beaten to death on other podcasts, but like if you are going to close down your economy, you have to do it to the extent of saving lives. But if you're doing to the extent of just have like making sure nobody else has COVID ever again. Like at one point it was like to make sure our hospitals didn't get overrun. Nowadays it's like to make sure nobody has COVID, which is like ridiculous. You're like we're ruining our economy and not allowing businesses to run at full capacity. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a long-term detrimental effect to each city. Like you said, like we're going to see in the next year or so what city comes out thriving and which ones don't. I mean, there will be a period like everybody talks about with like the roaring 20s. Like there will be a period right after the pandemic where everybody wants to come out and do things, but there's also going to be like a conflicting battle between like people who still have their jobs and people who don't during that time.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to go out into the roaring 20s and do all these things if you don't have income.
All I know is that I have a bunch of money that the government just gave me that I haven't been able to spend because everything's closed.
Yeah.
I'm going to have so much money from my vacation fund.
Yeah.
You'll have an extra 2,000 coming soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like going to be going to the movies every weekend.
Yeah.
AMC, baby.
When was the last time you went to the movie theater?
Trying to think. It's been a while. I don't even remember.
been
The
at
last
least-
movie you saw in the movie theater?
Probably Star Wars.
Yeah.
When the
Jesus. That's
episode 9 came out. Yeah. That was
Episode 3.
episode 3, 2005.
Mine was Frozen 2.
Ice
No.
Age.
I haven't even seen any of the Frozen movies. Is that a sin?
I
Being
haven't
American?
You don't have kids, so it's okay.
That's true.
I also don't have kids, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Disney's killing it with all the movies coming out still. I think what's the movie
Well, that's the shift now too, is like going to the streaming services. So Disney Plus is having tons of like big name, like
Blockbuster
WandaVision
movies.
and all these
Yeah.
Marvel and Star Wars
do you like that? The
shows.
WandaVision? You watch that?
The first 2 episodes, I was like, "What is
It's
going
so weird.
on?"
You have
But
to,
then it started to
grows
like
on you,
pick
right?
up. I'm like, okay. Honestly, I'm not caught up, so I can't really say. But
What is that? I've been hearing people talk about it.
it's like a, the Marvel movies.
Mhm.
What's
I can't remember her name.
Scarlet
Wanda?
Witch.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch and
her and
what's the guy's name? He's like the
Vision.
all-knowing. Yeah, Vision.
Wanda Vision. Yeah. So
Wanda Sykes.
the two of them, it's a spin-off of when they got married or something. It's a really weird story, but it's based off of their stories.
They live in like a little like universe where it's like back in the 50s.
And then the next episode's the 60s, then the next episode's the 70s, and the next
Sounds kind of interesting.
So yeah, there's some weird like sci-fi story behind it where they're like stuck in a different
it's like a
realm
simulation almost.
or something. Yeah,
type
like a
thing.
simulation. Like they're
Yeah.
stuck in TV basically. So it's a
Okay.
TV show. Each episode is like a different era, and it's kind of mimicking different, like a big TV show of that era.
right.
So
It's kind of
Sounds-
cool. Yeah, I can dig it.
definitely
The
creative.
problem I have with like the streaming things is they're all now calling their stuff like Plus. They're just
Yeah.
like very unoriginal. Like Paramount Plus. Now there's the Discovery Plus streaming
Could be
platform.
like Peacock.
Like, come on, man! Like, you don't need to write it off the
Peacock?
piggyback of this
yeah,
giant.
Peacock's
Comcast?
NBC's.
Well, yeah.
streaming
NBC,
service,
Comcast.
Yeah, it's like, okay, come up with something other than Plus. I feel
Didn't they
like
take The Office?
Huh?
yeah, Peacock.
Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch The Office.
That's
on Peacock.
like their ad. It's like, we
Yeah.
have The Office.
We have The Office now.
That's
Haha.
it. They
Come
have
to us.
that new show, Young Rock.
Oh yeah, with The Rock.
Yeah,
As a
Oh,
child.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You know, HBO did the movie thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Where
We
they-
saw
HBO Max.
Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it called?
Godzilla versus King Kong, I think, is another one. That
So I mean, that's great for the movie industry to still be able to film and get stuff out there, but because
Yeah.
the movie theaters are getting basically like stepped over, no one's going to the movie theaters, and
Mhm.
now we're gonna have even more big, strip malls, movie theater size
so
strip
true.
malls that are going
Which
to be
which
empty.
really sucks for the movie industry because they
Mhm.
just kind of started changing that. They were like, okay,
Yeah.
we're dying. Let's change it. Let's make the chairs super comfortable
Yeah.
and add food.
Add
and
food
it was pretty
alcohol.
good.
It's an experience.
It's pretty good,
Yep.
right?
Like, you like going out to eat. What's wrong with going out to eat and also sitting in front of a big screen while you watch?
And you don't have to talk to the person.
Yeah,
For those that are all
And
like
you can lay
has to be
back,
quiet.
bring a blanket.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and you can sleep after your meal. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
You know, like,
Sleep
you can't
into
do
the
that at
next
a
movie.
restaurant. It's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
You could do
Yeah,
it, but
I mean,
it's frowned upon. Weekend at Bernie's style.
So
as long as you're wearing a mask.
so they did that, and then now they're screwed again.
Well, I saw that.
Yeah, they
like,
invested
hopeful.
all this money in nice seats, and then that sucks.
They're hopeful because I just saw like Tom and Jerry movie just came out, and it was like they did $12.5 million this week for the opening of Tom and Jerry, and they were like actually like enthusiastic about it. I'm like, oh boy.
But it only cost them $80 million.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
I saw something that Tom and Jerry, it was like, in reality, they're actually best friends, but
Yeah.
Tom, being a cat, had to pretend to go after Jerry so that the other cats didn't kill
But he
him.
never actually got him.
They did
Yeah.
that also to like find a home.
I was
Yeah.
mind blown. I was like,
They created a problem where the mouse would go into the home, and Tom, since they're best friends, Tom also wanted to like have a home, so they would hire the cat. He would knock on the door, and he'd be like, "I give you free mouse hunting services," and then they would adopt the cat, and now they both have a home. That's the whole premise of it.
Yeah.
I did
Dude,
not
Tom
catch
and Jerry
on that.
slaps, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
I love
especially
fucking Tom
if
and Jerry.
you just put your teeth on it, girth solid. Anyway, yeah, that was actually one of my favorite cartoons.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
loved
because
watching that.
it's like unapologetically violent.
What was
You know?
the dog and the rooster
Oh,
that they beat the shit out of each other all the time?
yeah, they were like side
Um,
characters.
Yeah, I can't remember the name
Yeah, I
of the
can't either.
characters, but I always loved them too because
Yeah.
they were always on at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just funny as a 7 or 8 year old watching that. You're like,
Yeah. What channel was that on?
I always saw it on like
I
Cartoon
don't
Network
know.
or something.
Yeah.
It's Cartoon Network, but wasn't there another channel?
I don't know. It's like one of those.
It's like Time Warner
classic-
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
something
it?
like
Yeah.
that.
It's one of those cartoons that's kind of timeless, and they keep making new stuff. Like the Muppets.
Hmm.
Like Muppets had a show 2 years ago on NBC. I
I
think.
really like the Muppets.
Dude,
okay.
fuck off, dude.
The Muppets,
are
Muppets
awesome.
in Space or whatever it was. That was good.
Fucking great.
That was
movie.
great.
Muppets Treasure Island.
Okay.
Whatever you say
Okay,
right
alright.
now will affect our friendship for
Okay.
the rest of the fucking life. Okay.
So I'm still your
Muppets
brother,
Treasure
so
Island
friendship doesn't matter.
Slaps everything.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
All you guys right now, turn off this boring ass fucking podcast and go watch Muppets Treasure Island. It's
5 out of
I think
5
you can
stars.
watch all of them on Disney Plus, right? Like the Muppets are all on.
Are they owned by Disney?
Yeah. I think Jim.
I feel like
Henson
Disney
is-
bought everything cartoon related.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lately.
probably. They probably own Tom and Jerry franchise.
There's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus, and what's really cool is you can just go through there and you'll see movies that were like on Disney Channel or some shit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you're like, oh my
can't-
god, I
yeah.
forgot about
Nostalgia.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
they definitely tap into the little nostalgia
Mhm.
type of thing. I watched The Black Cauldron. You
Oh,
guys remember
yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I learned
Yeah.
that there's like actually a kind of a cool history behind the movie where like it took them like 6 years to make it, and it like was almost canceled like 3 different points during the whole thing. And like Don Bluth, which made that wildly popular, the what's the fucking video game where it's like kind of the same similar animation, you're running dungeon something.
Yeah, Dungeons
Everybody
and
at home is
Dragons.
yelling at me right
Mhm.
now saying it's this. Anyway, he was like leading the project, and at that like halfway through, he like left Disney and started like his own studio, and then they had to hire a bunch of like animators to backfill into that, and like I don't know, it's based
wow.
off a book or like a series of books, and it should have been told like in a much longer format, and they tried to like scrunch it into like this like 90-minute story, and I guess it was a box office flop. It was like right at the end of the golden years of Disney animation, and then like they had to like reinvent Disney animation after that.
Is that when Pixar branched off?
Well, Pixar
Or was that way later?
started by like
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, I think, was like a initial.
He was part of it, right?
Yeah. And then I think they started working with not.
Was that after he
Ford
created Apple? Like when he
Yeah.
wasn't CEO of Apple at that one
I
point?
think George Lucas was also a big part of Pixar in the very beginning.
I feel like I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, everybody's all like, it's very incestuous.
In,
The California.
I was gonna say
incestuous.
inclusive or exclusive.
Yeah.
Inclusive.
exclusive.
Exclusive.
But
I don't
it's
know.
like a lot of incest, you're saying?
Yeah, a lot of like George. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna get down that path.
Oh boy.
Get pulled off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Blacklisted.
true. All you have to say is QAnon.
Yeah.
Damn.
Whoa. That. And the screen goes black right after that for everybody watching.
And we're gone missing.
But as long as you say something about Capitol Riot, you're good to go. Good to go.
Yeah.
Never going to get caught.
Jordan, are you afraid of being canceled or silenced from your Facebook?
I already deleted I didn't delete. I disabled my Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
You did that after Trump got silenced?
No, I never used it.
You on Parler now?
Yeah. Yeah, catch him on pod.
Yeah.
www.parler.com
No.
/ Jordan Proud Boys.
/ oathkeeper.com.
Nah, it was way after that, after everyone supposedly left. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in the mindset of
Probably a
like
good thing.
less social media, the better.
Yeah.
Yet I still have them,
Mm-hmm.
just because I live so far
You
away
on the
from
gram?
family.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I
You on
am,
the grinder?
yeah. No grinder, no.
So-
What dating apps do you use?
Just Hinge and Bumble.
Okay.
Just-
Hinge,
I'm
the
still
app that's
single.
meant
You
to be
don't use the
deleted.
Tinder?
Yeah.
You're not Tinder in?
Nah,
Do people still use Tinder? Is that still a thing?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to set you up right now. All right, can we get your phone number
Yeah.
for all you ladies listening?
I've been. Yeah.
Mom.
Peep the video.
Give out your Bumble.
Yeah.
Which one do you like the best?
I mean, they both have their perks.
Yeah.
Bumble, it makes the ladies go first, I guess.
Yeah.
So like
So you
you
feel
can
like more,
tell.
like, oh my God.
Well, you can tell who's actually into it or not. Like,
Okay.
because the thing is, a lot of them will just try and blast their social media on there, so because they're trying to get famous or whatever,
No, they're fucking
and they'll
thirsty.
never actually respond. So
Thirst
they'll
traps.
just have like a profile, say, "Catch me on Instagram at blah blah blah," or I haven't ran into this, but if someone had an OnlyFans or something,
Yeah.
it'd be like, "Oh yeah, look at me on OnlyFans," just to profit off of it.
Pretty
Yeah.
good way to do it.
Wait, what does that mean? What, the
Promote
women go
yourself.
first? Like they had to message you or something?
Yeah, the guys can't message the girls
Okay.
first, so
Yeah.
the girls have to message the guys.
But can you
Um,
tell them that you're interested in them?
I mean, that's the whole idea of like liking their page,
Oh, okay.
and so when you match, then you're able to connect, but the first message has to be from the female.
So you get a lot of spam on there or no?
Yeah, kind of.
Jordan's a good-looking guy, so he only gets like
but
20% spam.
I'm sure you can probably tell like this is someone just advertising.
They have like a verification part of the app where you have to like take a picture of yourself through the app,
Dick pic.
doing like a thumbs up
Oh.
or whatever, and you have to match whatever picture they give you, so that they can see that your pictures that you're posting aren't just like from the internet from some random person.
That's interesting.
So
They should use that on
catfishing.
Plenty of Fish. 'Cause that's like the one
Plenty
that
of Fish
Catfish
yeah.
show always
Yeah.
brings up.
Plenty of fish.
That's a great show.
Yeah. Christian farmers.
Christian
Only.
Farmers.
Christian farmers
Christian
only.
farmer OnlyFans.
I think that's 2 different websites. 3 different actually. We have Christians only,
Yeah.
farmers only, and
Do you ever use farmers only?
No, there's no farms in Atlanta.
he's not a farmer.
There's
I'm not a
I've
farmer.
seen Walking Dead. There's farms.
So you ever been on Christians or whatever?
No.
That's a
Christians
one,
only?
right?
No.
That's
I mean, they're Christian Mingle, I think it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christian Mingle. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about?
You got to go to the one that everyone's using. So like
Booking.com?
it's always changing. So a couple of years ago, it was Tinder, and then Bumble became a thing, and so people are like shifting or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I go in and out
Match.com.
on,
You use that?
it's for like
eHarmony.
old people.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is it weird?
I have no idea.
Meeting people online during the pandemic, like let's meet
It's
up and
so
do what?
weird. Yeah. So
Have
there's
a Skype meeting.
I mean,
Date.
it's just like
Skype
talking
meeting?
to different people about their beliefs on wearing a mask or not. Like everyone has very strong opinions on seeing somebody or not in person. Some people like to only do video first, or some people are like, yes, we can go meet, but we have to be outside and wearing masks, or like some
Yeah.
people are like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So it just depends, but yeah.
Yeah, and we know someone who was talking to someone on one of the apps, and he was somehow immunocompromised.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like very adamant about like, have you been safe?
Yeah.
Like, have you been practicing safe sex?
Yeah.
No. Have you been safe?
Your
Like
AIDS.
not around people, not cleaning your hands and shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of kind of weird.
I mean, you're essentially you're meeting a random person that you don't know. I mean, you can ask them all these questions, but then you risk like scaring them away if you're very like concerned
Sounds
about.
Sounds kind of creepy, right?
Yeah. So it's like,
weirdly,
hey, where have your hands been? Like, okay, come on.
You haven't been around other people, have you?
Would you have similar luck just going on chatroulette.com?
I remember chat roulette. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or Omegle.
When it, oh, yeah, right.
Omegle.
Random people.
Omegle, whatever.
Omegle?
Omegle. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Omegle.
it's kind of the same idea. It's random. You either find them attractive or not. You either, connect and make a conversation or not. And
so are you swiping on Bumble and Hinge, or is that only
Tinder?
You swipe on Bumble, but then you like a profile on Hinge. So Hinge is a little bit different. It's more in depth as far as like, what questions that they're asking, so you can get a sense.
Is it kind of more like an eHarmony kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean you have prompts that you can fill in, and then there's a bunch of pictures, but like I don't know, they only allow you to like so many people. So you can't just swipe all for
and then you have
an
to pay
hour.
more to get more.
I mean,
more
yeah,
likes.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could go unlimited. You have to pay for it, but I mean, yeah. So you have to be a little more selective. So you're not just like getting because that's what's frustrating with like Bumble or Tinder or whatever. And you match with a bunch of people, but only 2 of them respond, and it's like
when you put something for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and you get like 1,000 messages that just say, like, "Is it available?
Is it available? Is it? Yeah. Yes, I'm on this app. It is available.
It's still there."
It's so funny because I'll be like, I'll send the is it available, and they'll go, nah, I just sold it like 2 days ago. I'm like, well, why the fuck is it still up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you want to have a conversation? Are you trying to meet new friends about this fucking mirror?
What'd you buy with the money that you got?
Like, why are we talking? Why did you answer me?
Yeah.
Like, why did you take time out of your day to answer me?
Delete it.
Delete and then all these messages go away.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't understand
so
it.
And then you
online
look at his
dating's
post,
weird.
and he has a thing that says like, "If it's still here, it's available. Please don't ask."
Yeah, it's like just offer
Just
me
delete
money.
it. Yeah.
What it seems like these apps can be like kind of like a game. Do you ever find that some girls treat it as such?
Yeah. You'll get those
Like How to Catch a Predator kind of thing.
Jordan, have you ever gone into a room and they're like, "Please sit down.
we need to talk.
Would you like some cookies?"
Like they have like a box of pizza in the
Chris.
room you're about to eat.
Luckily, no, that's never been
Okay. All right, just checking the vibe.
related to my experience.
But anyway, going back, do the girls like ever like? Have you had any experiences where like, come on, man, like, what are we doing here?
I mean, you hear stories all the time of bad situations. It's funny, like when I start talking to girls online, and I'm like, how's your experience been? Their responses are way more in depth and way more like bizarre than mine, because I feel like from a guy's perspective, we see things a lot differently. And I mean, I'd like to think that I'm a genuinely nice guy that wouldn't treat women terribly, but there are guys out there that will. And to hear from the other girls and their responses, I'm just like, that actually happens, which is not
Like what do you mean?
surprising.
Like what kind of thing?
Just I was
Crummy guy experiences.
Yeah, just like horrible first dates or horrible like situations. Like there's this girl that I was talking to, and she said that several years ago she went on this date with this guy who was like super macho, and they started talking about a touchy subject. He just started bawling, crying.
Oh.
And then she, being a nice person, like didn't want to go on a second date, but like agreed to it just cause. And like to this day, this was several years ago, to this day, he still calls her on Valentine's Day to see if she's still available. Like,
that's
come
like, that
on.
was like, okay,
That
if we're
is
both 40
weird.
and we're still
That is
single, can
weird.
we make this pact that we'll like end up marrying each
Oh,
other?
that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just doing my annual checkup, see if you're okay.
But
That's
I
kinda
mean,
funny.
I haven't had those experiences,
Yeah.
but like, I feel like women aren't that, I mean, they're weird sometimes, but
Girls
they're
are weird.
At least
Ew,
they
goodies.
don't like creep me out, kind of, because guys can creep women out very
Yeah.
easily, but
Mhm.
from a guy's perspective, it's a little different.
Well, if you think about it, if you're a lovely woman and you're on Bumble or Hinge or Tinder,
What if you're not lovely? Why does it have to be just lovely women?
I don't know. I'm just lovely does not mean like beautiful or exclusively about looks. It just means you're
Good person.
A good person.
Yeah, good. So you're a good person who's a woman.
And you're on these, and you go out on 10 or 15 dates in this span of 6 months or whatever, trying out your luck on these dating apps. At least one of those guys is going to be a fucking weirdo.
Oh, for sure.
Like, so, like,
or
if
like
when
they're
you
trying
ask-
too hard. Or,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we all have coworkers who are weirdos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we all know weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
So they're there. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. Just statistically speaking,
So
you look
you're-
around.
if you're
there's
meeting
bound to be-
just anyone on the internet, like versus like, I have a friend who has a friend, and I trust that friend, so I feel like that person's probably more normal versus
Mhm.
like just a completely random person.
Yeah. And the
can
internet's
run-
so deceiving too, because like you can doctor up pictures so easily,
Yeah.
or they can be old or whatever. So you always go into it like,
Yeah.
You ever gone on a date with an older woman?
And you're like, whoa.
with an older woman?
Well,
By
okay,
accident, not on purpose.
yeah.
Yeah, they was like, oh, she looks 20 something, and
I
turns
would,
out she's
I would
60.
say older,
With
like
age comes beauty, ladies.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say about that. Have you ever gone and been like, this is not who I saw online?
Or they come in and they're
there's
like,
been a couple times.
they're like
yeah.
Jordan, and you're like, no.
I'm too nice for that.
Yeah.
I could know right away, be like, oh, this is just a one date type of thing. But
Yeah.
I'll like me
Still be
being
nice.
the nice person. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy and just like wreck her. And
Is
say,
it that you're
just walk
being
away.
nice, or you feel awkward?
Oh, it's definitely awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I can fully
I think
understand.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's
Just-
why don't you do like a drink date or something? And
Yeah.
like
Trying
if
to keep it casual.
Yeah,
begin
nothing
with,
nothing that requires too much commitment where you're like, damn, I gotta spend like this obviously right
Yeah.
off the bat,
Several
it's not gonna
hours
work.
worth of
Yeah.
like going on a hike or going on like
Yeah.
some sort of
Go on
hour-long
like a
trip.
week trip to South
Yeah.
Africa or something.
I mean, I'm not trying to like fly people out from wherever to come
Yeah.
hang out with me for a weekend,
Yeah. You're not gonna be on 90 Day Fiance like that show, right?
Definitely not,
Where
no.
you're like, I am obsessed with this lady. I've never met her.
So we've
But
covered How to Catch a Predator, 90 Fiance.
Yeah.
What else we got?
my 100-pound, my 500-pound.
Catfish. Not gonna be on
Spoilers.
catfish because
Not-
the verification thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely come a long ways as far as like, I mean, I feel like I've been on it for a while. I've been on and off. I've had a couple of girlfriends here and there, but it's been, especially this past year, being in COVID, it's like it's literally the only way to meet people now that
Yeah.
because I'll go to in Atlanta, there's the Beltline. It's like a walk path basically that connects a lot of the city together, and it's very populated. Just walking up and down, and there's bars and stuff, but like you could just tell, you could feel that people don't want to be talked to, or just it never used to feel that way. Like you feel like you could go up to somebody at a bar just randomly and talk to them and get to know them and see if you like them or not or whatever.
Now you're pretty much not even allowed to.
Yeah.
It's like, please,
it's like
separate
discouraged.
households.
Yep. If you don't know me, don't talk to me, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Curious,
So.
on the Beltway, do people wear masks while they're walking around? Or is it
It's like 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that are active, that are running and stuff, they don't.
Yeah.
But the ones that are walking, some of them do, some of them don't.
yeah.
You got to imagine
So
all
weird.
this time inside is really just kind of it's bred a attitude, a perspective of like antisocial
Yeah, it's really
behavior.
depressing. Yeah.
Where like you feel like these people like I've been inside for 9 months straight, like this is my life now. I can't function normally. It's gonna be so awkward when I go to a restaurant with like people.
Yeah.
Like
Like, how do I interact like
yeah.
with other random human beings? And I've definitely second guessed like just saying something to somebody just in passing, just because like I don't know, like I just even like a quick compliment, like, hey, you look nice or whatever. Like, you get looks
you're a
like,
fucking creep. Dude.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I feel socially awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did before, but like especially after COVID, around people like in my own apartment building. If I'm walking past them, like if I don't kind of like move more towards the side of like towards the wall,
I know what you mean.
Are they gonna think I'm
like,
an asshole?
Being in an elevator or something, or
Because at the beginning, we went for a walk. Sarah and I went for a walk, and like this lady yelled at us for getting too close to her.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been like, I got
just
some
never know.
PTS.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
I don't want to piss anybody off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's extremely socially awkward, especially you go to restaurants and stuff too, and you can't. It's really really hard. It's pretty difficult sometimes to gauge kind of like what their attitude on things are.
Yeah. Well, first off, you're in a restaurant. And if you're going to be stuck up and saying you're too close to me, don't fucking go out to a restaurant.
Yeah, it wasn't in a restaurant. It was at a park.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like, if you had a similar experience, like, if you're trying to gauge whether or not people are going to be okay with it, if you're going to a restaurant, you're already compromising yourself with, like, contracting COVID. So, like, I don't know.
What about in, like, a subway where you don't have any other means of transportation?
Right. That's the thing. Or, like, in my apartment building, people are going to their home and whatever, and
it's
like they ask you to wear masks in the hallway, which is super weird. It's like
to take the trash out, I got to put my mask on.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Go to my car. Like I literally have to.
I forgot my mail in my car.
Yeah.
And
It's to me it's socially awkward going into places. It's weird. Even sometimes when we go to a restaurant and we go to sit down, I feel really weird taking off my mask right there because I'm like, I just walked to the fucking restaurant with this mask on. Like, why is it any different if I'm sitting here?
Yeah,
I'm still breathing.
Yeah,
it's just weird because like even before COVID, you always I don't know about you guys, but I always got the sense that people are becoming less and less friendly, just around, just the interpersonal interactions with people that you wouldn't consider your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because like I'm post college, and so after you leave college, it's like I don't know, it's harder to meet friends.
I totally agree.
It's like I had that issue when I moved out here. I didn't know a single soul, and like if you wanted to make friends and do it the traditional way, you would go out to like a bar or a club,
or people from
restaurant.
work.
People work. But like if you went up to make friends at a bar, it's like you have to flirt with this dude or this girl.
Yeah, it's like
platonic flirting. It's like, hey, what's up?
I'm not trying to have sex with you.
It's weird that you're asking for this dude's phone number at a bar. And without any like other connection to this person besides I'm here at a bar and so are you.
I think it's extremely difficult to meet people. I mean, especially for me, like I've worked from home for a long time now, and moved around a lot.
Yeah,
and that I literally would have to do that. There's no other means unless I knew, like when I came here, knew you, so you had friends.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have other friends.
Yeah.
But if I just moved here, worked from home still, it would take me, especially during COVID, would take me a long time to meet people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's how it would be easily done organically is if you know somebody at the bar and they're like, hey, meet my friend Jake or meet my friend Peter or like Ashley. And then that's how you become friends with make more friends. But if you don't know anybody and you're just there alone or with your spouse or a significant other, like
it's when you move back to your hometown and you hang out with the guys who didn't graduate high school. I don't know.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. But
so this has been good discussion, right?
Yeah,
we covered a lot of topics.
We covered
a little bit of
many things.
We're at just over the 2 hour mark.
2 hours. Wow. Okay.
Thanks for being on, sir. Myles, Jordan, any final words for the lovely people of the world?
Drink more.
Drink more water.
Right on.
More water. Yeah.
Myles, what do you have to say?
Vote. No.
I'm
saying that because I think this podcast will come out like next October.
Yeah,
when I'm trying to get this in
the midterm elections or something.
But I appreciate you guys. I mean, it's been a while since I've come out to Denver.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, visiting.
This
we appreciate
bar / basement / hangout room is
speakeasy.
Sick.
It's the coolest speakeasy in Colorado. Actually.
Yeah.
We know.
The lucky duck.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, give us a positive review on wherever you're listening. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify.
Trying to hit
Stitcher.
100K. Let's do it.
Twitch.
Yeah, thanks for riding along with us on this journey. Until next time.
Peace.
See you.